Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. This week, brought to you by 3 wonderful sponsors for one wonderful podcast.
I just want to say welcome's a pretty strong word.
Jam-packed podcast.
I'd like to say that Blaine looks like a div sat in the middle.
Looks so awkward here.
What's a div?
Like a fool.
There you go.
I agree with you. I'm a divider.
Div child. I don't know.
I'm Gus.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Blaine.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Burnie.
We've only been doing this like 350, 360
What are
times.
we up
I'm
to?
Gus.
Now I'm the div.
This is 354? 361?
You were 7 behind?
Fuck.
One of the animators for RTAA like asked me for clarification about a story that I was telling, and it said apparently it was a story, not to spoil anything. It was a story about a dog. And he goes, "Can you describe the dog in the dog story you told?" I'm like, "Dude, what? Give me more information than the dog story." So it's
dog story.
Yeah.
I bet I know what it is. I have no idea what this RTAA is,
Go ahead.
but I could probably guess. Zazu.
Nope.
No.
No.
Damn.
No. See, that's it. I mean, dog story. Give me
What
a
was
break.
it? Are you allowed to say?
No, well, I don't want to spoil that this is an upcoming RTAA.
Do you think it's interesting that they apparently type out the credits every week?
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently,
I
you
got-
think it's interesting.
I got tweeted to me today that my name's spelt wrong in the RTAA, which is
Game-
funny. It's
game
pretty
free.
funny. But surely it's just like
An asset?
drag and drop at this point.
Yeah, like,
Do
so
you
do
manually
they
type them in?
It's not a font, right? I think it was just like,
It must be.
I think it was just Jordan. Yeah, I thought he just scribbled it.
So he wrote it every week?
Did he misspell it when he wrote it out?
Yeah, this week it was gain.
Gain free.
Gain
So,
free.
and that must be typing to leave out a V. You don't leave out a letter
with
when
writing.
writing.
I
don't
think he's
you do
doing
that.
it just to mess with you.
It didn't make sense.
Gain
Jordan
free?
would do that. I think Jordan is that kind of guy who would do that.
Jordan and I went to PAX this weekend.
You did.
You went to PAX South.
Yeah.
How was
You were
PAX South?
Only
It was
2
good.
people left.
It was really good. Yeah, I get to be in a booth with them all. Wait, what'd you say? We were the only. Yeah, we were the C team.
You were the only choices.
See,
Basically.
giving yourself some credit there.
You think you're on the C team?
John Reisinger also went down.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Man, really scraping
Was he on the
the
bottom of
bottom.
John
reaching.
Reisinger?
Huh?
When John Reisinger went on the was he on the panel at PAX South?
We told him to crash it. He went up to the we were.
So he
just-
wasn't on the panel.
No.
There's literally nobody left in the company, and he still couldn't get on that panel.
I felt really bad, but I don't know. Like he was in the Q&A. It was funny.
He wasn't officially sent on behalf of Rooster Teeth.
That's not making it better. He couldn't even get sent down to San Antonio when nobody else was here. Everyone's got sent all the way around the
Hey,
world.
Talk
John,
to Bethany.
Someone showed me a picture of him like half naked with his knob out. Or
bring it
something.
on.
Or like
What?
with his knob
Who,
showing. Yeah, like it took an underwear photo, but you could see like his dick outline.
Oh really? Pull that up. I want to see
You
that.
mean the one on his Twitter?
Who sent you that?
I thought someone showed it to me. Was it Turney?
I'm just somebody now. I don't even have a fucking
Meg's pissed now. She got labeled as a somebody.
It was Turney. Yeah, I was wondering where I saw
So
it.
Hey,
Some
how are
people
you
are
getting,
never
how are you
somebody.
getting
John
Reisinger
used.
dick pics?
No, I mean it's an Instagram photo of I think it's like of Bella, but Bella strategically.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I saw it. I didn't see his dick. Maybe
It's when he had peanut butter on his
I wasn't
dick. He had
fucking
the
way to
dog
go.
in his crotch, right?
So Meg is describing this as his dog Bella is strategically placed to draw attention to his genitals.
he was lying down.
He's been, oh my god! Look at his
crazy.
knob hanging out.
You can't see it.
Oh,
No.
dude, you can see that dick
Put
poking
that
out.
Apple TV that
Can
stuff.
y'all
No,
pull
you
it up?
can't. No, we shouldn't.
Well,
show
here's
that.
the
It's on
important.
Instagram.
Yeah, but
2,792 likes.
Instagram has like they'll take down photos with nudity, right? So it
Yeah.
does not violate the
definitely see an
terms
outline.
and conditions.
We should get the knob outline.
pull it up. Pull it out.
I'm gonna to report this.
No.
Don't report it.
Let's show it first.
Report.
What's his Instagram account?
I don't
I think
like
he has
this
that
photo.
much pull with his Instagram.
Well, you can,
That's
anybody
an
can
option.
report, Gavin. You don't need to know somebody on the inside.
I had an
Do you
intervention.
think one person reporting it's going to take it down?
I just listen. I don't want him to give other people the idea to report, and then a bunch of people report, and then John loses a photo.
Don't report it. I did not report it. Don't
Don't do it.
I like how one of the options is I don't like this photo.
I don't like it.
You know, before we get
I
too
would
far
report
away
a
from
lot of stuff on Instagram if I had
your misspelled name, there's something I want to mention because it really breaks my heart, and that is that I've gotten some tweets from people saying that their name was misspelled or not put in the credits of Laser Team,
Yeah.
and they were a backer. And I've had to go through and say, like, the people whose name is misspelled, it's actually somebody else's name, and not everyone realizes or remembers probably that there was a specific tier to get your name in the credits.
Otherwise, we'd have like
35,000 names in
Yeah.
the credits. Exactly right.
It was already a really long
And already,
list.
how
It
many
was
was there?
amazing to see all those names scroll by.
Well, we did a lot of studying.
At least 1,000.
What's that?
There's at least 1,000.
It was
there, right?
2,000.
Was it 2,000 names in there?
There was like a million.
I
Chris's.
love the dude who paid $300 to put Mark Nutt's name in the
It
credits.
got share in every screen I went to.
Yeah, people went crazy for that. And yeah, but the when we studied Kickstarter campaigns, I want to say it was specifically the Veronica Mars one. They were trying to break the record for the most amount of people to back the project. So they just were like, if you give us $1, you'll count as a backer, and then you go in the credits.
Why did they want that?
It's publicity. You know, a lot of times with these crowdfunding campaigns, one of the big benefits is that there's a lot of reportable press information, and if they have the most backed Kickstarter, ever,
It's a cool record.
then that's a record that, people are interested in the Veronica Mars movie. So I understand why they did it, but they also structured their Kickstarter all wrong. Like, they started off by, instead of shipping DVDs was the top perk, which makes sense because that's the movie. The first thing they did was ship a T-shirt, which is then it's shipping and sizing and all that other stuff that's really hard. And some people are just like, I just want the movie. I don't want all that other stuff.
Yeah, dealing with shirts and apparel is difficult because you have to sizing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get all these different sizes. Like, we dealt with that, with when you went down to PAX South. I found out that we sent 14 shirts to the booth. But at 6 sizes of shirt, that's 84 different individual types of shirt that you have.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
You mean we sent 14 designs.
Right.
But you have to have 8 sizes per design?
6.
6 sizes.
6 for most, 8 for some.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
So in the Veronica Mars movie, what do the actual end credits look like? Because
First of all, it's super fast, I think. If I recall
okay.
correctly, I saw it 2 years ago when I was designing the campaign for Laser Team. But it's super fast, and it still lasts forever. So it's just you would have to pause to find your name anyway. So it's okay, name in the credits, that's going to take up a lot of time at the theater or whatever, however this ends up being shown. So we'll set it at a certain level for people who are really interested in that. But just over time, people forgot about that. And then when it says the Indiegogo backers section of our credits, people who contributed at any level start looking for their name and can't find it, or they see somebody else's name similar to theirs and think we misspelled it. But that's not the case, Or if it is the case, we're going to make it up to those people if somehow that happened. It's with as many names as we had, it certainly is possible.
We'll
but
type out their name on a piece of paper and send that to them.
we were pretty careful.
We got it.
Careful.
I mentioned to you earlier that my dad almost got arrested at a screening of Laser Team.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Matt Hullum's your dad?
Oh yeah, what happened there? I guess we can talk about that in a second. But so my dad texted me today, and I ended up calling him because what the hell happened? They went over the weekend, I think, in some place in Plano, and so basically they're sitting through the credits, and at the end of the movie, the manager comes up and they're like, "Sir, we need you to come with us." It's okay. So they took him into the manager's office, and I think there was a cop there or something, and they're like, "We've had several reports that you were trying to pirate the movie, and you had your phone out, and you were pirating the movie." And he was like,
Really?
He was like, no, really. He was like, my son was second unit director, and he was in the movie. I was just trying to take pictures of his name in the titles, and they're like, I don't think your son was in it. And they're like, no, really. And he pulled up his phone, and he had my name, Blaine Gibson,
my
Soldier
God.
2 or whatever. So, and then they're like, they didn't believe him, and then
Yeah.
they let him go, but they didn't apologize. They're just like,
Why was your dad trying to steal a movie?
He wasn't still in the movie. He was proud of me.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that happening. I'm actually kind of makes me a little relieved that somebody's watching out for that.
Yeah.
Well, in big movie theaters, they usually have people watching in every screening for that kind of stuff.
Do they? I guess
Yeah,
I've just
they
never
do.
heard about
Especially for
anyone
new
getting
movies.
busted for that.
And how slow of a night is it for the cop where he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And he the cop comes and shows up.
got
Nothing
nothing
else
going
going on.
Get that mid-50s guy sitting right there.
Well, this is in Dallas, right?
Do you know that person? When I've been to advanced screenings for something press screenings, they will sometimes have, depending on the movie, if it's a Spider-Man or Avengers or something like that, they'll have someone down in the front with an infrared set of binoculars looking at everybody in the audience. We were gonna have that for the Star Wars prank on Blaine, to say because obviously we they would want to keep a Star Wars advanced screening free of cameras, but that it didn't seem, and no one else knew what I was talking about when I said that. So
I know
it just
that.
seemed
I've seen that. I've also seen ones where they tell you to leave your phone in the car, and then they have a guy with a metal detector wand when you
Wow,
walk
that's
in
intense.
to
Yeah.
make sure that you don't have
we
any
did that.
recording devices.
We did all that to Blaine.
Yeah, you guys hired a fake security guard, and he took my phone away from me.
We hired people to go stand
Okay.
outside the theater.
Did you feel naked all of a sudden?
Oh my god, yeah,
So,
I did.
So
so
the guy-
you didn't have. Sorry, go ahead.
The guy that we based that prank on, the guy who got the inside line for Blaine to go to this, that our actor was faking like it was that person, that guy then called me 2 weeks after this thing and said, "Hey, we would like you to come out to the White House for this meeting with influencers."
That's who.
Same dude. And I was like,
no.
it wasn't the actor, it was the actual dude. Because this is,
okay.
I faked, I hired the actor to play this guy because I was like, hey, my friend X, whatever.
Yeah.
And I changed the guy's name for the video, but the actual guy that whole thing is based on, that's the guy who called me and invited me to the White House. So I'm walking around for a week not saying anything about this. Like, you guys didn't know.
I had no idea.
Because I was like, and I was absolutely convinced that there was someone was pulling a fast one. I mean, they sent me an invitation that you have to go to the White House website, to their domain.
WhiteHouse.com, right?
No. And then you have to register and do a background check and everything like that. And it was like, I still was like, this is bullshit. They're somehow, this is revenge.
You cornered me, and I remember you were really serious, and you're like, let's be real for a second. You're not planning on any pranks or anything. And I was like, no.
Look, I know I totally fucked you over like 2 weeks ago, but let's be straight up.
But it's funny because anytime you were talking about it, and I was like, oh man, the White House, that's great. And you're like, stop it.
It felt like house, like fun house. I'm like,
the White House.
White House.
Oh man, that would have been. That's a good one. You got to sit on that revenge prank for a bit, though, Blaine.
We should do
Oh.
that. We should
Come up
do
with
that
one
next
eventually.
time.
I've got a couple of ideas.
So when they took
No, fuck off.
So how long were when you went to the Star Wars screening and they told you to leave your phone in the car?
No. They came. I came up, and the security guard asked for my phone, and I think they in the emails they might have asked to leave them in the car or something like that, but they took them and put them in a little black bag.
Yeah, we even played the card of like the reason why you're being invited is because you're a social media influencer, which was
Take
literally
your
what they
phone
said
away.
to me to go to the White House. So I think the worst part about the Star Wars prank is that I really was second guessing this the entire time, is that we had them ask Blaine to make tweets about it, and like because we all have experienced that whenever we get like some kind of deal or like we're hosting something. They always, for whatever reason, go, oh, we need you to tweet about it 5 times. And we have to go through, Gavin, you've dealt with this with some of that stuff. We have to explain to them, if I tweet about this 5 times, I guarantee everyone will hate your thing.
Yeah.
They will absolutely hate it. Because we don't tweet 5 times about anything. Unless it's Laser Team, and then we do it 20,000 times. But
Hey, that's
What?
still playing in theaters.
it's still playing in theaters.
Go watch Laser Team.
Go watch Laser Team in theaters. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I try and only tweet once about anything.
Yeah,
Ever.
that's enough, right?
Once is enough.
And then they said, well, do you have an Instagram account? You're like, yeah, I do. It's got 40,000 followers. And it's just your fucking knee. That's it.
I think it was 60,000. It's probably one of the best post to follower ratios on Instagram.
It's really good.
Probably is the best.
Well, some people probably have no posts and still have way more than that.
This
but
is true. Like Ryan Reynolds or something.
yeah.
And then
undefined.
then it just throws off all the math. Because,
Yeah.
I made kind of a snarky.
But we made Blaine tweet about going to it and how excited he was.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we knew that they would ask. It's a
Right.
genuine thing. But
It's
that
funny.
was that I felt genuinely bad about
When
that.
he was
'Cause
filming-
then he got everybody else involved. It was terrible. Sorry.
When he was filming those videos, Aaron lives in the same apartment complex as him.
The
And
floor above
Aaron
me.
was in on the prank and I wasn't. I had no idea what was going on. I thought Blaine was legitimately seeing Star Wars the next day.
So he didn't tell you?
No.
Why?
Because he probably thought I would spoil it, which is true. And so Blaine's doing this thing and he's like, I gotta get this. So he like takes his phone and films it. I'm like, why are you so like, why do you have to film Blaine doing his videos? And he's just like, oh, just, you'll see. It's gonna be great. And he was so excited about it. And I was like, what's going on?
I was making that video. Adam was on the ground level, and I was like doing this whole bit
I'm
where it's
going
like
to Star Wars
Christmas
tomorrow.
Scrooge or whatever. And Aaron's like, Blaine, say the line again. Say it looking at the camera. And I'm like, I'm going to Star Wars. And then like Aaron's like, and it didn't. Like all these things hit me
I
as
was
soon
like,
as
he
it happened.
seems oddly excited for Blaine.
So we pranked Aaron.
Inappropriately
Lynn,
excited.
Aaron's brother Lynn and I actually, and I can't find the pictures. I can't get a hold of the person that has them. We'll post them later in the linked up. But we put Trump 2016 stickers all over Aaron's Miata while you guys were in Fiji and a bunch of other shit too. And then we felt so bad that we ended up taking them off. We wasted like
Why did you take them off?
because we were thought that they were going to damage the car. We didn't want to damage it.
I don't think you can damage a Miata.
Yeah, it's already,
think-
bad.
How much does it cost to spray the back of a car with new paint?
Probably not very much.
It all
Probably as much
depends.
as
It's a
it's
really small car.
You go to
too.
all different places.
probably like one spray and it's done. That car.
You know what I saw driving to work today? I saw gas for $1.30 a gallon. That's the lowest I've seen.
You have to buy a car wash for that price.
Yeah, that is true. You do have to get a car wash as well.
Otherwise, it's $1.50. Is that place right over there?
like
Which
we're living
as
in
as the price of gas drops, the car wash becomes more and more expensive. Like it becomes then like half of your fill up.
Can your car go through a car wash?
Can my car? Yes, my car can go through the
It
car
doesn't
wash.
like.
What's really
No, I have to park my car inside when it rains.
What's really stupid to me is watching, as the price of oil fluctuates. Thank God Joel's not here. Hope we don't I think if you say price of oil 3 times, he'll show up.
You've already said it twice.
But as the price of oil, as it continues to fall, watching Tesla stock also fall,
Yeah.
it's like so short-sighted and dumb.
But here's a really cool thing about it
Why?
is that
Because people say, oh, well, gas is getting cheap now, so people don't need electric cars.
But that is speculation on the part of people who are investing in the company. That doesn't actually indicate that there's anything off about Tesla's sales.
Right.
They just think, oh, gas is $1 cheaper, everyone's going to decide not to buy this expensive car that's electric, which is not the case.
But does anyone buy a Tesla?
With this downturn, there's actually been no decrease in the adoption of alternative methods of energy.
I think
which
people
is a great sign.
who currently buy a Tesla don't give a fuck how much gas costs.
I usually, I usually say I
It's
prided
expensive
myself
cost.
on not knowing how much gas cost or what the weather was.
And
Like,
you're
I just,
always the one who brings it up.
I
on
just
every
didn't care,
podcast,
and now
too.
I care about the weather, and I'm getting older. I care
Well,
about
the
the price
thing
of
I
gas.
always thought about gas is like, I need it regardless. Like, I need to
Right.
be able to go places, and
Right.
the price is going to fluctuate, and it's going to impact me a bit, but ultimately, I just need to get where I'm going.
Does a Tesla actually save in the environment in any way?
What?
I know what he's asking.
Because you're just moving.
Yes, it does.
You're moving it down. Like
Net
you're still
pollution.
burning fuel somewhere
There-
to charge the thing.
I think that there is a lack of efficiency at the construction or fabrication level of the batteries.
Right.
That's probably the most damaging part of the Tesla itself. But in terms of like fuel everyday use, what's going on? Gavin got something on his face?
You have something on your face, I'm not going to punch you.
Is it hair?
Gus is gently removing something
Thanks.
from Gavin's face.
Thanks,
That was
That
nice.
was tender.
It was nice.
Very gentle.
Why don't you touch me like that?
So the energy that it takes to move a Tesla down the street is that it comes from a power plant somewhere, which is fucking burning coal or something like that,
Yeah.
or natural gas and things. But power plants are way more efficient at providing energy
Than the engine of
than
a
a
car?
car's engine is. A car,
Okay.
like these rolling little generator combustion engines.
I still think though, until they're charged by the sun when they're parked, they're not.
And that's
they're
one
not
of the
doing it.
other
agreed.
that's one of the other initiatives that Elon Musk is backing is that Solar City company. That's what they do. They install.
Yeah,
solar
nobody ever
cells in
talks about
people's
that
houses.
side of his career. It's like they talk about Tesla, they talk about SpaceX, they never talk about Solar City.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, and it's really weird. Does it seem weird to you that Tesla makes the power wall, which are the storage units? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big problem with solar.
What is-
where
what is Solar
it's getting
City?
boring. It's a big solar panel
You put on your
plant,
house.
basically.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like for getting consumer level solar energy.
Take one.
What if you live in London? It's like never sunny there.
Well, that's the big problem is that most
Probably have a silly accent.
alternative methods of energy creation are like they're dependent on certain situations like sun or wind or something like that.
Yeah.
And they can't store the energy. Whereas like, the power plants are mostly like just you turn on some on demand, basically you're pulling from the grid. And it's like so the big solution they have to have is storage of energy in order for these things to really take off.
And I think that's what the Tesla battery tries to solve is it pulls energy, if I recall properly, it pulls energy when there's lower demand and energy costs less. So like it may charge itself at night.
You can set when you want your thing to charge.
Right.
Like I can plug it in at 8 p.m., but it won't start charging until 2 a.m.
Why?
You can just set it that way because if you live in a place where electricity is cheaper at 2 a.m.,
Oh, like off peak and stuff.
there you go.
Yeah, like in Austin, you can, if you have a Nest thermostat, you can enroll in a program where Austin Energy will control your thermostat basically, and they give you a rebate and they give you money if during peak hours you use it less.
Do you do that?
triggers-
Would you do
No.
that? Anybody do that? Would you wouldn't do it?
No, I don't do it.
Is
I
that
would
the
do
thing
it.
though? That the times that you burn energy is different costs.
Yeah, there's peak hours.
News to me.
It is unstated. Temperature is the number one stress factor in a relationship. Like just who controls the thermostat, and it's like 1 degree hotter, 1 degree cooler. That is probably one of the long-term things that makes
Do you
relationships
like
fall
it cold
apart.
and Ashley likes it warm?
I do. I like it colder.
I am fascinated by Esther's ability to tell small fluctuations in temperature.
See, here we go.
By like 1 degree
By
Fahrenheit.
1 degrry, like we'll be
I'm the
sitting there, and
same.
she's like, "It's really hot in here." Like, well, no, the air conditioner would kick on at 76. What temperature is it now? 77. I was like, how did you feel that? How did you know it was 1 degree over?
It's impressive, isn't it?
think
Or
it's 'cause
same,
you're-
same thing going the other direction. If it's cold, like, oh, it's
Is it
cold
like
here.
the same as being like pitch perfect? Like you play a note on a piano and she could name it, but for temperature?
Temperature.
Like could
Might
she
be.
walk into a room that's 73 and be like, 73 in here?
Nikoatsume?
What do you
my
keep your
cats.
temperature at? 76.
In the summer, yeah, 76.
Yeah,
What do you guys
Lady
keep your temperatures at?
in the summer and the winter?
Summer.
Summer, I keep it at usually 73 or 74.
Damn, baller.
You're 76?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm like
I'm a-
I feel
70.
like an asshole, man.
Yeah, 70.
I'm a
Okay.
I'm like
I'm
71.
a fucking tightwad.
71,
I do
72.
not want to spend money on my air conditioner. And you're right. This is a level of stress. Esther is constantly pushing to have it cooler, and I'm like, no.
You guys are flipped.
No.
Sometimes I don't even use the air conditioning in the summer. at
No,
all.
because
I
76
know,
is
it's
like
weird, right?
you bend over and get sweaty.
No, 76 is great.
What? How did what?
You know how sometimes you're on the verge of being too hot, but
And
you're
then you
fine if
bend
you're just
over?
like sitting or walking around. But as soon as you like bend over or like lift something once, you're like, all right, it's too hot in it. This is bullshit.
We're from the UK.
You know, Sydney was like that, by the way. Sydney was fucking humid.
Yeah.
I don't remember that city being that humid.
Well,
It
did you ever
is
go in the,
right on the ocean.
Did you go
Well,
in the
so is
summer
Melbourne,
before?
and Melbourne's not that humid.
That's true.
You
We
know?
went in the
San
winter.
Francisco's on the water, and it's not humid. Asshole.
I felt wet going
dare you.
outside.
Out of here. I'll just leave.
What's that?
I felt wet when I walked outside.
Hey.
And not for the
Hey.
usual reasons.
Not for the usual
yeah,
ones.
like actual physically wet.
I can't believe after that podcast, when you talked about getting wet at the drop of a hat, your dad.
That was a podcast post show, by the way.
Oh, it's podcast post show. Your dad was at the next fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Barbara, you're awesome. You have no fear. I love it.
What does he say to that though?
He doesn't say anything, and that's
He
the
just
beauty of it.
pretends it didn't happen again and again
All he
because
says
we
is-
keep bringing it up.
All he says is great podcast.
That's where your
Well,
parents
listen,
and I
Gavin, how many
differ.
times? I mean, like you talk about me kicking you when you were in the bathroom and your knob touching the urinal and all that stuff. Do you ever? Do you ever worry about your mom, like what she thinks about that, or
No,
yeah?
Are you talking about anuses like almost every single podcast?
I had
anuses are funny.
an irrational fear the entire time we were in Australia
That
for
cat game shows
RTX
little cat
Australia.
butts, by the way.
Anytime I went to the men's room and there was a trough, I had an irrational fear that you've been following me all day and were preparing to kick me in the back and knock my dick into the trough.
Listen. I really felt bad about that. I really felt bad about it.
I was constantly
I wouldn't
peeing
do
and
that
looking
again. I
over
wouldn't
my
do that
shoulder.
again. But I thought it was really funny at the time.
Wait, when did this happen that you actually did that?
It was in Australia.
Oh.
We were in the bathroom, and I went into a stall, and Gavin went to the trough. And then I came out. I was done before Gavin, and he was just there, both hands, at work. And he's peeing, and I just walked up behind him and kicked him in the lower back, like pushed him forward. And he was either could hit his head
Yeah,
or...
what's happened is that I was leant down, like, looking, and my head was going to hit, like, the wall.
Yeah.
So I leant back, and then my penis
So then
hit
your
it.
other head hit the wall.
So if you've never had to use a trough, Barbara. So there's
the
something I
word.
want
Well,
to describe
okay.
that's baffling to me about the trough.
It's
Can
a
you
ma-
explain what it looks
That's
like first?
exactly where I'm going to start.
Okay.
So imagine stepping up to a wall, and that wall is metal in front of you.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's metal on the floor as well.
Yes.
Then over the metal on the floor, there's a grate
Elevated by like
Nope.
an inch or two.
above
Okay.
the metal that's under
How
it.
do you handle this?
With
Right.
gum.
Do you stand up on the grate?
You tell me.
I don't
Yes.
know. Or do you step
You're supposed to
away
stand on the
from it?
grate.
I
Then
would
you
think-
ping on your
Why would you stand on the grate? I would think you would stand.
You're supposed to.
I
you
think
don't
you're
know. You don't
supposed to
stand-
stand on the grate. That way, if you have dripping at the end, it goes through the grate. I don't know. What's the point of
Well,
the
the
grate?
grate is under your feet. There's a trench in front of the grate.
Right.
Like, you're not stood in the piss. It's like trench and then raised bit to piss
Why
on.
do you stand on the grate? I don't
Well,
understand.
maybe because if it was-
Because
He's
apparently
making it sound like he stood in the piss hole.
That's what it felt like.
you stand over it.
yeah,
you stand
it's directly
over it.
under you. There is piss under you.
I don't
But
get
I
it.
think
Think
the
about it.
reason, because if it was just like concrete right there, that where you're standing on, that would constantly get the pee
Do we have a-
splashing back.
I'm looking one
Picture?
up.
Okay. Because I really can't visualize this and why you wouldn't stand. Because like if you're at a urinal,
So
you
here's-
don't stand in the urinal.
You do if it's a metal one.
Barb, it's metal sheet like this, and then metal on the ground like this. And then over this part is a little grate
Yeah.
like right here, and you stand on that.
What? You
But that's the
don't.
part you pee in.
You don't stand on it?
You don't stand on the bit you pee in.
Okay, here it is.
There.
Yeah. You're making
It's a
it
little
sound...
different.
No,
they're
that's not the
different.
same.
They're different.
That's a little different. Yeah, that's
That's
a
an
little
American
different.
one because it has ice in it.
There I would understand
that?
standing on the grate.
What, peeing on the ice?
Yeah, what is this?
I found,
What
I
splash
found
back.
it.
Oh,
There it is, there it
ew,
is.
why would you stand on that?
No, but you see, that's not a good image.
That's exactly it.
That's
though.
exactly it.
So
But he's not stood with his toes against the wall.
you can't see his penis. It's inaccurate.
Wait,
No,
so,
when
how
I-
much of a gap is there between his toes and the wall there?
By the way,
Maybe
can we go back?
2 or 3 inches?
Can we go back? What's the fucking context for this picture? Why is that dude so fucking happy?
I think he just built that thing.
Yeah, he just installed it.
Look how happy that guy is. He's like, yeah, look at me.
Hey!
So when I was in
I piss on
Australia,
everything I build.
when I was in Australia, I was like,
Somebody should Photoshop Bella on his lap.
I was like 3 feet away from that. And then some Aussies started coming in and peeing, and they stood on the grate. And I like
so
looked
it
at
was
them, and
arcing along
they were
there.
looking at me, and I'm just like arcing across the toilet.
Yeah, so you're supposed to stand on the grate because apparently, even though guys have this directional tool by which to pee, and we have a fucking wall-sized urinal, even in this place, people still piss on the floor in front of it.
I
just talked to Gavin about this because we go to the bathroom before the
Together.
we go to the bathroom before the podcast.
Do you hold hands too?
Why do we hold hands when we blow each other? No. So we go to the bathroom, and I'm like, there's a fucking puddle in front of the urinal. It's
you know
like,
what?
what's wrong with people?
there was-
How do you miss the wall?
It's because you're pissing on a flat surface. No one has invented the perfect urinal. The perfect urinal is a hole cut into the
You
wall.
said urinal. You said it.
It's okay. You recovered. Good for you.
The perfect one is a hole cut in the wall, right?
Oh, the glory hole.
It's massive. It's like this,
Oh, it's
and
not
there's
the
a
shape of
mesh
things.
over it, and you just piss at the mesh.
Why does it have to be mesh?
Because the piss goes through and it doesn't splash back in your face.
Is this a
or
thing,
the
or did
floor.
you invent that?
He's inventing it.
And below the mesh is a little lip like this, and it catches any like drippage, and it goes back.
I
back.
still don't
disagree.
see
And
it.
no one, I've never seen one, but that is the perfect design. And tell me why it isn't, bitch.
Because
I
then
think it'd
people
go with a better one.
I'm afraid of the mesh splashing.
I was gonna
out.
say,
A better
like,
one would
imagine-
be a tube that's very significantly big, and you pee down the middle of the tube.
Yeah.
That's it.
You
Like,
just
people
described a
stick your
toilet.
dick in
pee
a
into
hose.
like people would pee into like air conditioning units and then fly back out of them.
A mesh doesn't splash.
Yeah, but you get pee on the mesh. Like
Yeah.
imagine peeing through your screen door.
Can we get Gavin or
wrong
Marcus
with
to
that?
make this exact design and then
Look,
let Gavin pee
we will
on it?
install my custom urinal at Rooster Teeth, and I bet everyone
We
will
should.
use it.
Okay, here's what we'll
If
do.
you put
we'll
any
build it
distance
and we'll use it at RTX. We'll set it up
Oh,
at the
no.
convention and we'll ask people. Then what was your piss experience like?
Gavin, though, the mesh would make you stand back from it. If you put people any distance away, they go every
gonna
direction.
splash
I got-
That's
everywhere.
the perfect urinal because there's no direction that you can pee that will get on the floor behind you unless you
but
turn around.
You're pissing against a hard, splashy surface.
It's just gonna get really meshy.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh, is that what you're
that's the
talking about?
perfect urinal.
Nah, you see,
I-
there's still gonna be drippage on the floor.
Question though, do you
I
stick
have
your
a-
dick in it?
My dick wouldn't fit in that.
See, that's too close to a toilet that someone might take a shit.
so
in
I
that.
have a question. when you guys, not you, Barbara, I'm leaving you out of this conversation. When you guys use a urinal,
Sexist.
do you keep a hand on your dick or do you just like let it flop around?
What does that mean?
Don't you have to keep it?
I have to hold it.
Otherwise, it's like a hose.
No, or it just goes down. And
Yeah.
No, that was
You
like
know-
super pressurized. Like,
Why would it go down?
what do you mean? Why
Here's
does it
why-
go
here's
down?
why
I mean,
I'm
why
asking.
wouldn't you want it to go down? You're pissing downwards.
Yeah, but no, like
Like
I
on your leg.
I would control. I would go down your leg.
well, the boxers will, it'll give you a little bit of, so it's like hanging out a little. It's not gonna go like.
Yeah, you're not like
That.
pulling your
Wait,
boxes around
boxer-
your ankles
you,
and
you don't
pissing.
actually like
I do it.
unzip all the way.
Straight
You
down.
just like unzip and pull it out through a boxer.
No, God no.
He just puts.
So
his
what are you
box-
talking about?
he
Oh, I
puts
see
his
what you're
box
saying.
under.
you know,
Okay,
you do
I got you.
straight.
I got you.
Jack
Do you-
is the only person I've ever met who uses his fly
What, he
to
like
go to the bathroom.
threads his dick through the.
That's
through his
no.
underwear and through his jeans, and then
ridiculous.
pees, and then mushes everything back in and sips.
When
up.
I was at the hotel in Australia,
Thumbing it back.
before our room was available, when I first landed, I went up to use the urinal, and I was standing there pissing, holding my dick like a civilized man. And this person walks up to the urinal next to me, whips his dick out, starts peeing, and as he's pissing, reaches into his pocket, pulls out his phone, and starts texting
No.
with his
No.
dick just like flopping around, pissing. I'm
No.
like, what the fuck is this
Not
animal?
happening.
No, he's multitasking. Props to that
I
guy.
don't
And then
think
like
it
his
would-
friend walks in, and then he's like talking over his shoulder at his friend, like texting still at the same time. I'm like, what is this?
There's been
And
times
then
where
he's like, "Why are you texting me, bro? I'm right next to you."
there's been times where I've been on my phone with my dick out, and then people will come in, and I put my phone away because I don't want them to think I'm doing like a nude or something.
Oh, while you're peeing?
Yeah.
But
Oh, that'd be
I
weird.
don't think,
do
I
that?
think even if your penis was out, unsupported, and then you pissed as hard as you could, I don't think it would flip everywhere like a hose.
Unless it's a little baby.
no,
but
I
it
agree
would
with you. It
still be
might not, but it's like I
Point
just
it down, isn't it?
I just normally just control.
Have you ever scared like when you go for the post pee shake to try and get all the driplets out?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you just do you just take your grip and just give it a little shake?
I give it a shake
Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
worried. I'm worried that this is going to look like I'm, So I've worked
Everybody
out.
knows what you're doing. You're in a bathroom filled with men.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're jacking off.
Even
Yeah.
still though, what I do, I adjust my grip, penis between the two fingers like this.
No.
Like you're
And
smoking
then-
a cigarette?
And then I do this.
That's the European style.
And it basically just like shakes the end of your knob like that. And it doesn't look like you're doing anything with your arm.
No, this is how you do it. This is the most efficient way.
Yeah, you gotta see Gavin's hand motion here. It looks. I don't know what it looks like.
Here's your penis. You take
the
a
knob
grip,
shake.
and then you squeeze like so, like it's a squirt bottle.
What?
And then it'll come down
Like you're milking a cow.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
you-
like this, like this.
That's what you do after you jizz too, right?
And then you,
Get the
What are you
little
on
bit out.
about?
or you dab. You gotta
What
dab.
is that?
Sometimes
Dab.
I'll,
So
while
what
I'm
do you
peeing,
dab with?
I'm ending. I reach over for the toilet paper. I grab the
At
toilet
your
paper.
rhino?
There's
and then
no
I go,
toilet paper at a urinal.
dab, 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 dab. Oh, whenever you're using a toilet.
You know what'd be great? In front of the mesh when you're done, toilet paper dispenses downwards.
How old
and
you guys-
keeps-
even
and
better.
keeps going, and you just touch your
A
penis
Dyson.
against it.
And you put your dick in it.
Like
and
a
then-
Dyson dick blade?
Yeah.
Fuck you. I wouldn't put my dick anywhere
That's
near
like
that.
sandpaper. It's like.
How old are you guys?
38. 38 next month.
38.
Oh,
So
38 this month. Holy shit, I'm old.
on February 22nd. So, how many times in your life have you wiped your penis with toilet paper after you pee? How many times? 38 years.
Dab. You dab.
0?
No. I'm telling you, there's a very specific situation that you do this in.
What's the situation?
Pre-blood
No,
job?
there's two. There's two.
It's post-sex?
There's one where you're wearing white underwear, so you don't want driblets on those.
When do you want driplets on your underwear? Go ahead. All right.
Well, never, I guess. Oh, Jesus. Oh, the other one
He
is
only does
you're,
it for white
You're
underwear,
about to
ladies.
see. No, that's not true. You're about to see. Someone's about to see you with your
Okay,
pants
fair enough.
off.
Fair enough.
You don't want driblets on.
You're in full prep mode. Like, this is like, you're staging it. Is
Yes.
what you're doing, right?
Yes.
It's like when they film the cereal commercial, they use glue for the milk. Totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
You want to put on the best.
But typically, like, it's part of the staging process, making sure you're not pissing immediately before.
I
You
mean,
take care of that ahead of time.
No. If you're gonna be going at it for a while, you gotta, take care of
Yeah.
cover your
Break.
bases.
You have
A
Pee break.
while? What, like 5 minutes?
Poor Esther.
That is a gut check, though. When you're in bed with somebody and they go to the bathroom, they come back, and it's kind of like, all right,
You're a human too.
we're good with this. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
there was like a moment, though, where you consider that.
Guess
It's like,
anal's out of the question.
well, they do come back from the bathroom, and you're like, I guess I got a decision to make here, but I'm just gonna roll with this. I've never like said, get the fuck out of bed because you just went to the bathroom or anything like that.
You haven't lived.
But I think we all consider that when we're in the bathroom.
I mean,
In
you're
that
going in a
moment.
different hole anyways.
What's that?
You're going in a different hole anyways.
You might be.
I just tell whoever it is I'm going to the bathroom, turn music if I'm gonna be taking a shit.
I'm not even talking about taking a shit.
Are we talking about shits?
I'm not even talking about taking a shit.
I'm just saying
I'm
bathrooms, like
honestly-
when you're leaving bed to go to the bathroom. I was telling them to turn music.
Isn't that obvious? Though,
You
what
put it
you're
on
doing?
them?
I don't care. It's obvious because I'm in there for forever wiping.
Why don't you put on music then? Why don't you put on music?
forever.
Well, I want to make sure that they listen to what they want to listen
You
to.
can explain I'm not wiping, I'm just dabbing. That's the whole time.
So
How
you
often
think
have
about
you
you should.
dabbed then?
I dab every day.
You dab every
You
day?
sit on the fucking toilet.
You said there
I
no,
can
no,
do
no,
my
no,
thing.
no, 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 no. You said there are only 2 situations where you dab. So those
Maybe
2
he only
situations
has white
happen
underwear.
No, like-
every day.
Humble brag.
Every
day, huh?
Yes. No, sure. No, I just
Welcome to the age of Tinder, Gus.
like for the layman, but I do it because I'm a gentleman.
For the layman? What does that mean?
For the commoner.
What are you talking about?
Layman means.
What does that mean?
I
no,
know, that's
oh,
not the part I'm confused about.
Oh shit! Did I just fuck up a word?
Well,
For the like, it was just out of
layman
context.
terms?
like layman's terms is like for a simpleton.
You're simplifying.
I'm
it.
Googling layman.
It's like an average person.
No, right. You're just like simplifying it. But why are you simplifying
Well, why-
it? We're
yeah,
not
why?
confused about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I dab every day, but I thought you guys would jump on my ass if I said that. So then I was
No,
just saying,
but-
no, there's 2 situations.
You dab your ass as well.
Okay, there
No,
we go.
no.
There we go.
Okay, fair enough.
You dab every day. That's
Dab every
all
day.
we needed.
Truth
Okay.
comes out. Truth comes out.
Hashtag dab every day.
So when
Every
you
day.
pee at a urinal, do you then go into a stall and dab?
No, that's where I do the milk.
He's making a motion like milking a cow udder, like going from the base to the head.
like-
No, it's the
in one-
toothpaste. It's the toothpaste.
You get in the lemonade
Toothpaste
house.
is like this.
Yeah, toothpaste you roll
Oh
from
god!
the bottom. Are you
Don't
doing
do that
that?
to your dick. Don't do that.
I'm just imagining
you
women
roll?
like squeezing
Yeah, like
their
you
users
roll
out.
from the
I
end
just
of the
got
toothpaste.
I just got a message from John Reisinger that said, "Did you guys at least say something nice about my dick?"
If he
No,
was
we didn't,
watching
John.
the podcast, he would know John Reisinger, piece of
Did you ever
shit.
Let me
Put
tell you
that
something. John Reisinger,
No.
he watches my house whenever I
out.
go anywhere. So when I went on the Amazing Race, he watched my house for 30 days straight. And it only flooded once. And then he watched the house for 2 weeks when I went away to Australia. It's a very nice thing that works
Did
out.
it flood?
When I came back from the Amazing Race, it had been 30 days I'd been gone.
It was during the winter too, right?
And just in case anybody thinks that like it's revealing any information there, they keep you gone the entire time when you're on the Amazing Race, whether you win or lose, whatever happens.
You're gone for 30 days.
You're gone for 30
Right.
days. So after 30 days, I came back and I was on the plane coming back. I finally had my phone back and I called John and I said, "Is everything okay?" And he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Great." And I had already called and talked to the kids. So I called John and then I had made one other phone call to my brother. I'm on the phone call with my brother. So when my kids, John, everything's great. Call my brother. 1 minute in my phone call with my brother, John calls me on the other line. And I'm like, "Okay, hey, what's up?" And he says, "I don't know what happened." He goes, "Everything was fine. Everything was fine for 30 days. You called me, and then a pipe broke in the wall, and there's water coming out of your wall." And so I had to get Matt over there and everything. We had to get this pipe fixed because this pipe just bust.
Hullum?
Yeah, Matt Hullum lives he doesn't live that far from me.
Oh, okay.
So and plus, it was I think like a Sunday night at like 10 at night. So
okay.
worst time to get a plumber. So I had to and I'm talking through people while I'm like on a layover. I'm talking them through like turning off the water for the house and everything, which I didn't even know where that was. So anyway, so John watches my house when I'm gone. He's only completely tried to destroy it one time. But the thing is, Gus, you have a millennial watch your house, and to me, like John Reisinger is like the ultimate millennial. I don't know why I feel that way, but
the hair.
he doesn't like. There's some stuff he just doesn't do. Like he doesn't check the mail. So I come back after 30 days, and it's like the mailman has just jammed all the fucking mail.
Well,
in there.
did you tell him to do that?
Yes, it was on the list of things to do, and he's like,
well,
"Yeah."
then he's a jerk.
I didn't.
Only old people use mail.
Right, exactly. It's like, how much mail can you get in 30 days? You know, that kind of thing. So I just thought it was really funny. Like, I know that's definitely a generational thing where he probably just doesn't give a shit about mail.
I've got something to say about that.
Well,
but
what do you have to say about that?
Let me read this first.
You read that first.
I want to remind everyone this episode of the podcast is brought to you by.
All right, so if you guys have any questions for us, tweet us at hashtag RT Podcast.
A lot of people dab.
I'm the
A lot of
oldest.
people dab.
A lot of people dab.
I'm the oldest person. I live in condos, and I'm the oldest person in my condo complex.
Shocking.
So dealing with other younger millennial homeowners, I can see like some of the same situations arising where it's like, there are a lot of them are first time homeowners and they don't necessarily understand how things work or why things are the way they are. And it's always interesting to me to interface with someone when they're having a problem for the first time and they've never seen it before. So I can understand why when you have a water leak, you call, instead of having John deal with it, you call Matt, who's
A grown-up.
who's owned several houses.
I just honestly, I totally trusted John to be able to handle it. I just wanted more people there, but Matt's had a house before. John is like, who do I call that instantly comes and solves this problem? Right.
So when
He has kids and
He
stuff.
has 2
He's still-
kids.
yeah, but that's not a house.
I think John has owned a
Might
house.
as well be.
I think John has owned a house. I'm talking about what I was referencing there, Gavin, is an apartment manager, who's like, when you're in an
Right.
apartment and something goes wrong, people are like, oh yeah, the
There's a
fucking
24-hour maintenance line.
Exactly right.
So when you were on,
But John has actually lived in a house and owned a house before.
so Amazing Race is coming out soon, so we can talk about it a lot more. Hopefully, once the show's out. I think
Yeah,
it
it
It's on
comes
the
out
12th, right?
February 12th, Friday, February 12th.
So for 30 days, while you were doing the
Fantastic.
Amazing Race, while you were off, not here, they took your phone. So effectively, you were just cut off.
Right.
For 30
So
days.
it was great.
It was great
It was great. In fact, I don't think I've changed my voicemail back.
to let people know that you're back.
No, my voicemail before said I will not have access to this voicemail.
Did you find yourself like reverting
leave it.
to any types of old technology, or like was it like going back in time?
No, the first few days were definitely like withdrawal from having it. And they actually just put up the pre-race interviews they did with us. And one of the things Ashley and I were talking about was we had, because it's a season, it's a theme season of social media stars, which that's a way you can package a show together so people understand what it is. But I don't think, the TV audience generally understands that social media stars doesn't mean we all do the same thing. Like one guy is a championship Frisbee player, one girl's a beauty vlogger. There's 2 TV hosts basically that are in it, Instagram models.
One
models.
woman
Totally
was like
different jobs.
in a viral video too. That flight attendant.
Yes, and then one who's a flight attendant. She just happened to make that Southwest Airlines viral video, and that's why they're all part of in the same show. But I was convinced that because it's based on social media stuff, that Ashley and I ended up being the oldest team combined. Like if you added our ages up, because most people were like in their mid-20s. Some people brought their parents with them, so we weren't the oldest people in the whole race. But combined, we were probably the oldest team. And so we were speculating that we had a little bit of an advantage because, we had lived in a world where maps don't talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
So how did you get around GPS?
No GPS, nothing. You have nothing.
So you have to use an actual map.
You don't have a map.
What?
You don't have a map. Have you ever seen the show before?
Yeah, you got to rely on people telling you.
Can you not buy a map?
You're like, it's kind of like, you could buy a map, but they also, for every segment of the race, which they call a leg, they give you X amount of dollars.
I feel like that used to be a bigger deal earlier on. And like now, I still know that that's the case, but I feel like they don't reinforce that aspect as much.
I
as
think
they
it's actually
used to.
harder now because the one thing that's not included in that is the purchase of airline tickets because
Right.
that's like you're buying like literally I need a one-way ticket to this place right now or as soon as I can get
right.
it. And you're at a ticket like lunatic. You're at at an airport counter, and so the money they give you is more so to when you get there to get around in that place, and they give you enough to where some places you have a taxi and that's great. Some places you can even self-drive your stuff, and then some it's like, well, the primary way they travel here is by like tuk-tuk, like these 3-wheeled little like motorcycles essentially, and you get in the back of one of those. I think they're called tuk-tuks.
Yeah, they are tuk-tuk. I know. I'm a big fan of the show.
It's speculating. I wouldn't want to
ride
indicate that we went anywhere or didn't go anywhere.
So I
On a Supergirl. We were on a commercial, you and me.
Oh, we were in a commercial for Supergirl?
During Supergirl.
Oh, that's cool.
Like an interview with you two?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like a little commercial just of us.
Just of us? Oh, Ashley's saying that we were on a commercial. They're going to be running promos for Amazing Race from now until February 12th. And Ash said there was one just if you watch Supergirl, if you have a DVR at home, there's a commercial with me and Ash on it.
I saw, was it the one where you guys had to guess who would answer who for which questions? Because I saw that today.
She didn't watch it.
Oh.
She's been here.
Oh.
So I was
Touché.
talking. So going back to maps for a second, I was talking with someone here at the studio earlier, and they were asking me about maps. Apparently, I'm an old man now, so I'm the one who people ask like these old technology questions to. And they were like, "So if you were looking for like X Street, did you just have to like scan a map until you found it?" I was like, "No, there's a directory on the back of the map that lists all the streets." And it's like, okay, X
it'll
Street.
give you a grid.
A grid. It's like, oh, X Street, G5.
I
was
was
not
the
aware
one
of
who
that.
asked the question.
I wasn't going to out you. But yeah.
I didn't get that.
And
do you
I
mean?
guess people.
Well, like we were all around before GPS was common.
But I
But
never
you didn't
was
have
driving.
to get around. You were a kid. You relied on your parents to get you around.
I was never the one driving. When,
mean, I did the
when I
coordinates
started
on
driving,
maps.
I had GPS.
Yeah, key maps. Those were very expensive too.
Right. You could buy like big atlas maps if you're going like on a long road trip that give you like general directions from state to state. And then as you like got to like urban centers, then you have to buy like smaller, more detailed maps.
Do they still sell those?
I think they do.
Where? Like gas stations?
I think a gas station, or like if you sign up for AAA, I think they give you an atlas.
We also bought a map. I remember when we did that Left 4 Dead. Oh no, was it Left 4 Dead? No.
Oh, it was
Last
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Last of
we
Us.
had to go to Walmart
yeah,
to
we-
find a map,
we
and it
bought
was like
Yeah.
a shitty map.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's weird how quickly that technology turns around and people forget. Like just no one knows. No one has to use a map. When's the last time you had to use a map, Gavin?
An actual map?
Like you pull out a paper map to get somewhere.
I couldn't tell you. So long ago.
You ever use a map?
No.
I think the only map I've
mean-
ever used is like of a mall or a theme
I'm talking
park.
Oh yeah. And it
Not
says
an
you are
actual
here.
map,
I
yeah.
used a mall map a couple when we were in Australia. That doesn't count. I meant
Yeah,
to like.
but like an actual city map
I
where
guess-
you could drive, no.
Video games, I use maps a lot, but yeah.
I remember driving to like places in Houston. You know, probably 20 years ago now. Yeah, about 20 years ago, maybe being like, okay, I've never been to that part of Houston. You know, let me pull. I take it back. When I first moved to Austin.
That was your glove box. Had all your maps in it.
Yeah, when I first moved to Austin in January 1998, the first thing I did, I moved into an apartment complex.
gloves
I
go?
went to a gas station across the street and I bought a map of Austin and I
Yeah.
pinned it to my wall. And I was like, I don't really know Austin, so as I go places, I'll use this map to help me get around. Then I'll highlight areas I've been to, so I'll know. Okay, I remember I've been here before.
God, I'm way too lazy to
Like
do that.
there's even like the old joke that people have about like you go to some place and it's like how do I find this place? And they say, well, go down and take a left at the tree, you know, where Jimmy broke his leg, and they go. There's like this old joke about that, like people giving you landmarks that don't mean anything to you. But even the act of asking directions isn't even a thing anymore. Or like the thing that men never want to stop and ask directions. That's
Yeah.
like a classic joke, but it just doesn't exist anymore because nobody stops and asks directions.
Brandon's one of those guys that he'll be like, oh, in order to get to this place, you'll go down, you'll take a left. And I just like, I just stared at him blankly. I stopped listening to him. I was like, I will have this information in my GPS. Why are you talking to me right now about this?
I ran into a family once in Tokyo back in 2005. I was going to the Tsukiji fish market, and I got off, and it's kind of like removed from the center of the city. I got off the train, and there was this obviously not Japanese family like standing there looking at this huge map on the wall of the train station. There's nothing in English on the map. It's all in Japanese, and they're just like, it's like an older couple and like their young tween children, and they're just staring at this map entirely written in Japanese. I'm like, I need to help them. So I walk up to them and I'm like, are you guys lost? Do you need help going somewhere? It's like, oh, thank you. You know, we're looking to get to Tokyo
Yeah.
Disneyland. You know, where do we go? I was like, okay, you guys are in the wrong place. You want to get back on that train, go in that direction, get off at this stop, and then go over there.
Gus, it's so
You're
sweet of
nicer
you.
to strangers than you are
I
people
felt
in your
bad.
life.
They were like, we were in the middle of nowhere. It was like, this is like a bumfuck train
You
station.
probably saved that family's life.
And no, I mean, it's Japan. What the
Japan.
fuck's going to happen to them?
Maybe they would have kept going.
There's like no
and go
crime.
somewhere.
cat at the train station would have herded
would've
them to
starved
the
to death.
station.
Somewhere in mid-fuck Japan.
But it's just really weird. Once and then back then, 2005, that was before iPhones. You know, now I think with the iPhones came out 2007.
Okay.
So with the explosion of smartphones, I feel like we've just become too reliant on them for everything. Honestly, I give Aaron a lot of shit for it, but I think it's really admirable that he doesn't have text messages.
No, it's really weird.
No, it's fucking
He has
weird.
everything else, though.
I would admire him
Why
more
not
if he didn't have
text them?
WhatsApp.
Yeah. Huh?
Why not text messages?
I don't
It's basically
know.
just tiny
I ask
email.
all the time. time.
I think his answer was with text messages, it's expected that you'll respond immediately, but with email, it's not. It's like email, you can respond at
He
your
doesn't
leisure.
like. Yeah, he doesn't like the.
He doesn't like the instant.
But he has WhatsApp.
I know.
And
And with WhatsApp, you could see when someone receives your message.
Right. Yeah, that's why I said I would
He's just
respect
being
him a
an
lot
idiot,
more
then.
if he didn't use that. Aaron, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Is,
Here.
Is
Were
what it
we
boils down
talking
to.
recently about people vomiting on planes?
People vomiting on planes.
Did we just have someone who had someone throw up next to them?
No, I had another medical emergency on my plane.
Which one? He's
got
been
your
on
finger?
a lot recently.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was a medical emergency, but then everything turned out to be okay. And it reminded me of the time who was on the plane with me when we were sitting in front of the guy who died.
Oh.
Did we talk about that?
Oh,
we
the
talked
one
about
that
that?
died
it's
and
an
came back to
RTAA.
life?
Right?
Is it
Wasn't
Jack
Jack
there?
there?
We
Did we
talked
just
about
talk
it.
about that on a recent podcast?
Oh, it's been a long
It was
time.
within the last 50, I would say.
yeah,
that-
it was within the last year.
That was messed up. No, it's not the one where somebody died on Jack's plane. He got mad about it.
No,
That's
no.
not what I'm
Different-
talking
different
about.
Jack got
one, yeah.
mad about somebody dying?
He was very inconvenienced by the person's
What a
death.
dick.
It was unbelievable. But this was somebody who was sitting behind me, and I didn't see who was on the plane with me.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Neither one of you guys
You're
was?
so confused.
Who was on the plane
Were
with
you
me?
there?
I was definitely there. So it was like I'm sitting in the aisle seat.
Wasn't it like on your way back from Vegas or something, or on to Vegas?
Yeah, was it? But the person, I don't know. I fly a lot. Gavin just put a post up. Gavin hit gold in the month of January.
I've never done that before. Some people like take a whole year to get gold status. It's 25,000 miles, which is a lot. It's like 2.5 days solid in the air.
Yeah, and he did that
done
in
it already.
January. He's
took
taken
s-
19 flights in
Yeah,
January.
it was 16,
Jesus.
but it was crazy. But that means that executive platinum, because it's 4 golds basically, is 10 solid days in the air. Not straight.
Listen, if somebody hits executive platinum status, which is 100,000 miles in trips in 1 year, they deserve whatever. They should get to fly the plane at least once a year. Listen, that's so many miles. I've never hit. I hit a threshold of total miles lifetime where I got platinum for life. I have still never gotten close to executive platinum.
Really?
I've hit platinum like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
miles
this
is that?
this
50,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's double that.
I
to
hit
get to
platinum
executive.
again last year. I think I got like 85,000.
I think I've gotten close. Gotten like 78 somewhere in that area, but never hitting that 100,000.
I was on a plane. I'm so sick of flying. I have 4 flights this week too. I'm gonna kill myself.
Where are you going?
You know, places.
Someone,
Oh, okay. Places.
Anyway, finish my story.
someone here on Twitter
Yes,
at Hyman Smasher.
Do they dab? Oh, okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, they dab.
Go ahead.
It was Carrie and Miles.
Carrie Miles were on the plane with me.
That's what they're saying.
Where the
Where
fuck
were
would
you
I go
going
with
with
Carrie
Carrie and
Miles?
Miles?
I'm not going anywhere with those
IAW
two.
TV Awards?
Now I don't want to tell the story.
And Aaron says I just convinced him to delete WhatsApp.
Oh.
How am I
was-
supposed to message you now?
You just
Email.
fucked Barbara because now everybody's going to have to go through Barbara to communicate with Aaron.
Email.
I don't want to fucking.
Why don't you do the
email.
same thing?
Why don't I do what?
Get rid of text message.
Why don't I get rid of email and then he can't contact me?
Why don't you just why don't you go back to like smoke signals? How long do you think you could live if you didn't have
You wouldn't last a day.
email or text messaging or any of that
I
shit?
could handle it. Snail mail.
No way.
Snail
How would you
mail.
do your job?
I can't. There's no possible way I could do my job.
You have a
without
job. Barbara has a job that didn't exist 5 years ago.
5
6 years ago. It's a social media position that didn't
Well,
exist.
it was like flyers back then.
So you're going to go hang
Right,
out
like
flyers.
promotion.
Yeah.
Right, you go and you like staple flyers to telephone poles.
I think what I would do is I would write tweets on post-it notes and just stick them in people's foreheads and just have them walk around in the wild.
you'd go around to like strangers down the street and be like, hey, roosterteeth.com.
What would you
And just like walk away.
Hey, our
What would
podcast
be
is
the-
about to go live.
What would be the hardest piece of technology for you to live without?
My phone.
Just
Easy.
your phone, period?
My phone. hands
But
down.
like what aspect of it? Like smartphone or just your
My smartphone.
phone?
The fact that it does everything now.
I'd say flying.
So if you took if you
flying's
went back
been
to
around.
just the phone, like if you went back to a Motorola like flip phone or a Nokia,
No good.
that would just kill
But
you.
yeah, but see, I don't consider flying like high tech because that's been around forever.
No, it bloody hasn't.
It's been around over 100 years.
That's forever.
Yeah.
That's 4 billion
When we
years
talk
old.
about like a smartphone, smartphones realistically have only existed for
Oh my God.
9 years.
Can I pull
Oh
it?
no, that's the mega
You
bro.
leave that in
Do you know
there.
what's crazy?
It's like-
do you
it's
remember
the
when
whole
it was
length.
like
Wow.
really fucking cool to have a mobile phone? Like
Yeah.
at your work?
You had
like,
to-
it was
you-
a big fucking deal.
You
when
had to
got a mobile
modify
phone.
your car. You had to like bolt that shit.
No, I'm
into
talking.
your
I'm
car.
talking even in our generation when the PCS or digital phones got to be a big deal.
Oh,
like
right, yeah.
Modern mobile phones, like the Flip era or the Sprint
Right.
PCS phones, whatever you want to call
Qualcomm.
them.
My
Qualcomm.
dad had a car phone.
It was
Didn't they
Prime
have
Co,
these
Prime
ones
Co.
that had like they looked like purses and then
Yep.
like they
No,
had
it's a
one in
brick
Lethal
phone.
Weapon.
Our old boss, who was a
I want
telecom guy, he had a brick phone because it had a bigger range, like in rural areas. So he always kept it. And every time, even as late as like 2000, when he would call AT&T, they would go, "Okay, I'm looking at your plan, and what is this?" They're like, "What is this thing that's 10 cents a minute on your mobile phone? We can get you a way better rate than this." He's like, "Don't touch that, because if you touch that, that's my brick phone, and if you touch it, it'll invalidate it because it's an expired plan." And he needed that phone to be able to go out in the middle of nowhere in Texas and still get reception. And things like
how is it-
massive.
I think they have
interesting.
subsequently deactivated that network.
I think the network's gone.
yeah, that was on the old analog
I like
network.
how you
But now
display it as being massive like this instead of just like this. Like you have to show
Because-
that it's by your head.
Because you had to hold the phone. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like
You
a
couldn't
huge
one
thing.
hand it.
No, you could one hand it, but it's like the one you always see in the '80s movies with the fucking big antenna, and it looks like they're holding a book up to
And
their,
there were some that looked like purses. That like the purse
That's what
part was
Blaine
a
just said.
battery. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you would pull the handset off and it had like the coil.
Who was I talking to that anytime you talk to, like, how do you show that you're talking to someone on
Yeah,
your
like
phone?
that.
Was it you that showed me this?
No, I think it was Burnie who said it.
Yeah, was it Bernie?
How kids do it these days?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you told me this on set the other day.
Yeah.
So kids will do this.
Barbara.
Or everybody does this, but
Move
kids
your
will
head.
now do this.
kids talk on the
I have
phone
a
like
phone
this.
call.
so weird.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
need
they
to
hold their
take this.
flat palm to their head.
What about you, Blaine? How long do you think you could last?
How long do I think I could last?
Oh, there it is. Yep, that's one of them.
That's
give
the
it-
purse phone.
Yep.
I'd give it a good 36 hours before I'd break down.
I don't think I could.
Phone
Well,
call
you
for
have Tinder and stuff, right?
I have Tinder. That's something that I need.
I don't think I could last 36 hours.
GPS.
I bet.
I don't think I could last 24.
I could not last 1 hour. I
I
don't
get
think.
the skin crawls when I don't have it for like 10 minutes. Like I just reach for it just then.
I
It's a
feel
comfort
like
thing.
I would be fine as long as I had a replacement shaped thing in my pocket.
to play with.
Like I don't not like having it to feel, but I could not use it.
A
I
guy
just
on
had, like, a slab of
Survivor who
wood.
went on Survivor, he carved himself a BlackBerry out of a coconut or a piece of wood and would just tap on it for like a surrogate.
That's not true.
That's 100% true. You can look up like Survivor wooden BlackBerry.
Why?
No.
Guy
Was that a
absolutely did it.
joke?
We
No, I
talked
get
about
that,
him a
though.
lot on the race.
I get it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, like right now, and I know sometimes you get like phantom pain or like phantom, like you think that your phone buzzed. I swear to God, my phone just buzzed and there's no alerts on it.
I
and
get
it's
that- I get that a
driving
lot.
me fucking crazy.
I get that a lot.
You had the story, Bernie, of when you went to go get your phone fixed or some
That's
update,
an RTAA.
and
yeah.
you gave it to the person and then immediately went to get your phone from your pocket.
I had like that moment of like 10 seconds of nothing, and then my mind goes, all right, time to, and I start patting, and I'm like, oh shit, and I'm just standing there with my hands, like whatever. When I got back
the
from the
equivalent
race,
of getting an error.
it was actually great for me because I didn't care about my phone at all. I did not care. And it's like every second I spent on my phone, I was very conscious of the fact that I was on my phone. And I was like, oh, this is great. I might have broke my habit of like being on my phone constantly. Within 2 days, I was back to
Yeah.
literally 2 times a minute
I don't
checking
think
my
it
phone.
could be broken.
It's
I'm excited for
insane.
that
It's
night.
insane how your brain just like needs it.
That night mode this is coming out on iPhone.
Yeah.
What's
Where
that?
you can make the screen yellow instead of blue.
Ooh, I like
It
that.
supposedly like doesn't keep you up at night.
Patrick, sending you a picture of a brick phone.
You put a tweet out not too long ago where you're like, you can tell how awake you are by like how many eyes you have open when you're looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Because when I wake up, I'm like, I have one like
Yeah,
barely
you
open.
can basically you can tell how tired you are based on the amount of minutes that one eye is shut while you're still.
Do you guys ever go on your laptop when you're about to fall asleep?
No.
I try
I
to
do.
keep it away from my bed.
I
'cause
use
I'm
a
afraid
screen.
I'll
I use
fall.
a screen right up to the point I fall asleep.
I always position myself when I'm lying in my bed and have my laptop tilted up on myself. I sometimes have to put a pillow under it so it's tilted at the same angle I am when I'm
That's sad.
sleeping.
That's so sad.
I've fallen
pretty
asleep
sad,
with
it's
my
pretty sad.
laptop.
I live
so try to
alone,
avoid
okay?
I wonder why.
that. Ooh.
Because Aaron doesn't have text messaging.
And he just deleted WhatsApp apparently.
Oh, that fat cat was there and then he left.
there it is.
Yeah, that's a
Toast.
brick phone. I had the fat cat for the first time
So,
ever, guys.
oh fuck that guy.
So that,
the-
and
the
also
cat.
that guy holding the brick phone, that's every dude who had that phone. It's like old white dudes in the 80s who were super happy.
I grew up out in the middle of nowhere. So when cell phones first came out, that's how the phones that we had to have. You had to have a phone like that.
That's bigger-
Or you had to have also the kind that you had to modify your car. It's like you had to bolt a
Yeah.
phone into your car, install antenna receivers in your trunk, and then install an antenna either on the roof or on the
Antennas.
trunk.
What was the boomerang shaped antenna? Was that
That was television for
the
limos.
television for limos? Okay.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Antenna.
I bet that phone that we just showed is.
You
by,
said urinal, you fucking knob.
I bet that phone is by mass bigger than all of my phones combined that I've ever had.
Probably.
Whoa,
Probably.
So I had some crappy travel recently.
Yeah, what happened?
Bad experiences. First, we were landing from some flight. I don't know which one it was.
Can I just say, by the way, before he goes on with this, the guy on my flight didn't die. A doctor on the plane helped him
Oh.
and like declared he didn't have a pulse. And then 5 minutes later, the guy was like, huh? And everybody's like, hey, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. And then we just went on with the flight for another 2 hours
Even
later.
though
And
he
he
was
was okay.
declared dead.
Hyman Smasher says it was podcast 255.
Thank you. So
Thank
you
you,
can get the
Hyman
full story on
Smasher.
podcast 255.
Maximum podcast.
He took the username I wanted.
So you were saying
So
What podcast are we on now, Patrick?
261.
361.
360.
So it took me 2 years to
Fuck.
retell that story. All right, good. I'm just making sure.
So I was on a flight and it was pretty smooth, not very bumpy. We landed and all of a sudden I hear like a load of spill. I was like, oh, the guy next to me must have spilled
Oh,
his
no.
water.
Oh God.
And he was just full on vomiting, like on landing. I've never seen that before. He was just like, and it was
Like
like filling the
projectile?
bag, and it was right next to me. I was like,
What?
and then I felt some gum. I was like, have some gum. You just threw up right next to me.
One time, for
wait, wait,
semi-related,
yeah.
I was getting off a plane, and
How did Gavin
as-
not throw up in that scene?
That is a good question. As I was walking through the plane to deplane, I was kind of in the back. As I got to the bulkhead, I could see there was like something on the bulkhead.
Oh,
And it was like sliding down, and the flight attendants are like standing around it with gloves, trying to figure out what to do about it. It's like he did not find the bag, or
So-
he did not make the bag because it was on the bulkhead.
So, Gavin, why does that make you gag? His story make you gag, but a person sitting next to you with a little bag filled, like a little pool of vomit in a bag, that doesn't make you ill. How is that?
it didn't make me feel great. I'll tell you that. But I was trying to hold it together, and it was like in the moment, and I was like, this guy feels terrible. I got to try and get him some gum. Why isn't there powder in the bags that releases like lemon scent?
Because that would add another 5 cents to
Also,
the cost.
you
Yeah.
probably then smell lemon scent.
It would
on
also-
all
I would rather
planes.
smell lemon than what I was smelling.
It
on
would
that
also
flight.
probably
I'll tell
mean
you
that the bags would then at some point expire, and they would have to like
Yeah.
change them out.
Your
So that
vomit
was
bag
that was the
expired.
first annoying thing. It wasn't annoying. It was just like gross. That's memorable.
They're like wax slides,
No,
right?
it's okay to be annoying
Yeah.
someone barfing next to you.
Then I was in the lounge at LAX. You know what it's like, right? There's the big windows, the angled windows. And as the sun gets lower in the sky, they put blinds down over the windows, like automatic electric blinds. Have you seen this? They go
Pretty
like-
cool. It's like living in the future. It's like Blade Runner.
Yeah. So the first time I was like messing with my phone, and then they came down like, behind me. And I looked at them. I was like, oh, cool, yeah. And then the sun actually sets behind the buildings, so they bring it back up. And they came up like while I was still in there. And the woman next to me went, "Excuse me, can you stop doing that?" And I was like, "What?" And she thought because I was like pressing my phone as it was happening, she thought I was controlling the blinds.
What?
What an idiot!
What a dumb
God.
bitch.
Yeah.
It's-
I was like, I didn't know if she was kidding because it was so weird. And I was like,
What does she think
For the
any
sun.
customer can just download the window shade app and fuck with it?
What'd you say to her?
I was like, what do you the blinds? They just do that.
I have a
That's not me. I'm not
question.
doing the blinds.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
And you'll probably know this better than anybody. I was on our flight home from Fiji like 2 days ago,
Pie Jai.
and on takeoff
Don't
and
say
on
our flight. It was your flight.
My
None of
flight.
us were there.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
on takeoff
Dwayne,
and
you were there.
landing, they force everyone to put their window shades up.
Oh yeah.
What is
totally,
that?
Totally normal.
What
That's
is that?
that's pretty common. It's so they can see outside for
Right.
like on landing or like if anything's wrong or smoke like happening and
Like the flight
pilots don't know.
attendants?
If you're gonna have an accident, you're more likely to have it on takeoff and landing. So imagine the plane like loses a wheel and crashes.
Mm-hmm.
You also-
and it's a scenario where nobody dies, we gotta get off the plane. You could have a scenario where the window shades get pinned and you can't open them, and you need to look out for hazards.
For fire.
Gotcha.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
they-
only flight I've been on in my 26 years that I've ever
It used to
heard
be
of
a
that.
lot more common actually. Like I feel like 15, 20 years ago that they always would mention that, and now it's very occasional.
They're
You're
You're
very
not meant to
nice
open
about
the
it.
That
the
means,
overwing
that means they
exit
think you're
unless-
going to crash. If they're like, can you open up the window shades? They're like, it's like 50-50
That flight
at
was
that
a little
point.
bumpy on the way back.
I also hate when flight attendants over explain the procedure for opening the door. It's like in an accident, are you willing and able to help people get out of the emergency exit? You say yes. You have to say verbally yes,
Yes.
if you're sitting in the exit row. By the way, if you can, you should sit in the exit row because you have more leg room. Pro,
And you could be a hero.
pro traveler tip. In fact,
And you get out first.
yeah, you get out first. You're more likely to
but
survive.
not on an international flight.
What?
On an international flight, the exit doors are usually really big and they stick out into your legroom.
They do, and also they put the international flights. They have a big like space,
Yeah.
so you have a ton of leg room. But that's also where people come and fucking stand, and they step on your feet.
It's also
they-
really cold there.
They
for some
wait for the
reason.
bathroom right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. You can hear grunts and farts. It's gross. But I don't like the person who comes and the occasional flight attendant who way over explains that. Like, okay, in the event of an emergency, you will be in charge of this row. I need to know that you're capable of opening the door. It opens like this. You pull that cover off, you pull the handle, you lift it, and you have to be capable of taking 80 pounds and placing in the seat. Can you do that? It's like, this is way too much. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Just ask me the normal question. Don't walk me through we're going to have a fucking drill at this point. It drives me crazy.
Well, maybe there's a person who's never flown before.
Maybe
who
they don't
doesn't
think
know.
you're trustworthy. I've never had this over explanation you're talking about.
Oh, I've had that.
I hate it. I hate over explanation.
Soon it's going to be like the baggage sizes things where they make you do that. There's going to be like a fake emergency door on the jetway.
Test if you can do it.
Nailed it. You passed. Get in the exit.
Get out. Yeah. So Mitch Hedberg has such a great quote about that, where it's like you block a fire exit. It's like, if you're alive and flammable, you are never blocking an emergency exit. You can't stand in the way of an emergency exit. You will get the fuck out of that emergency exit if you have to.
Yep.
I will figure out how to work a door. I promise you.
Or you will
Right.
make a new door.
Yeah.
Right there.
You know what else I fucking hate while we're on topic of like shit that's overexplained? How the fuck do I turn off on my browser when I make it full screen? The first thing it does when I make it full screen is it puts up a dialog box that says, hey, you're in full screen. And it puts over, clearly I want to see whatever it is that I'm doing. And then it says, do you want to allow this or exit? So I hit allow and it goes, okay, you've allowed this. But if you want to get out of it, just hit escape. It's like, and you gotta wait for that to go away. It's like, after the 80th time of using full screen on Chrome,
So
I know how
I
that
finally
fucking works.
understand it. This used to piss me off too. I know why that happens now. If there are malicious websites that are hijacking you and making it full screen and taking over, that is so you can hit deny and escape from the trap.
Okay, then how
That
about
is
Chrome?
not why
How
they
about
do
you
that.
give
That is
me
exactly why
how
it
they give me the
happens.
option to close a fucking dialog box without clicking on any buttons in it? How about that?
Yep.
Like I don't.
Enter.
I'm convinced every time it pops up, it says, "Are you sure you want to leave this page? You're missing out on great deals." And I go to click OK. I'm positive that transmits all my bank information.
You know what's the worst thing in the world that's ever happened? Is when you're watching a
Guarantee
video.
this is not the worst thing.
You're watching a video on your phone, and there's like 20% battery left. Does it need to pause the video? Does it still, after 9 versions, need to stop the video?
Dismiss? Yes.
God damn it! Just I don't know, flash or something. Like a notification comes in, then leaves.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
It's awful.
This world we live in.
That
do we
is,
manage?
that is the
Literally
worst.
the worst thing.
It's the worst thing in
ever.
the world. Here,
No, it's
let-
well annoying though.
I'm gonna read this other thing.
Do it.
Want to remind everyone, this episode of the podcast is also brought to you by.
You know how no one owns Antarctica?
I do know that. Wait, that's not true. There's sections of it. It's like sectioned in like a
Weird
like,
ways, yeah.
like a radial thing.
The peninsula. But if you were born there,
I think you're just gonna ignore that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
if you were born there, are you a citizen of Antarctica?
You're a penguin. If you're born in Antarctica, I'm pretty sure you're a fucking penguin.
I don't think anybody has ever been born in
I agree with
Antarctica.
penguins.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
why hasn't anyone done that?
Because it's fucking Antarctica and no one wants to have a kid there.
There's like
Because
research
Kurt Russell is
stations
fighting the aliens
at
down
the
there.
South Pole.
Hey, I think scientists who are about to have a baby take maternity leave.
No, I mean, why hasn't someone done it for the sake of doing it? Like, move there
What
a
is
year
the, what is
before.
what is the upside?
Gus-
what do
Gus-
you learn?
They're a citizen of Antarctica.
I
They're
would
the
like to
only
change
one.
my answer. I now want to have a kid in Antarctica. I totally want to do it.
Same with the International
Wouldn't-
Space Station. Are you a citizen of space? Are you the first spaceman?
You know, there was a couple that was on the
was
space
David
station. They
Bowie.
got to bang in space. Do you think astronauts have banged each other?
Fuck yeah.
Like just for scientific purposes?
I think
Like
due
sperm
to
and
many
spirograph?
purposes. They're probably bored as shit up there.
What?
I think as long as they
no shit.
Well, have them?
10 kids have been born in Antarctica. I'm being told via my earpiece.
suck my knob, Gus. So what's their passport say?
I'm looking it up right now.
Can a pregnant lady travel into space? I mean, depending on
don't
like how
let-
far along
they don't
she
let
is.
women.
No.
They discourage women from
No
in
way.
their third trimester from traveling.
Even flying on planes.
You know what I heard
That's what I
recently?
meant. Sorry. Yeah.
I heard that that you have a better chance of being an astronaut if you have a family, like a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, because then you have like more of a desire to complete the mission, make it back home.
You'll fight your way back?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is how stringent they are about medical stuff going up. Is you got to be someone who can withstand a lot of G-forces to do it, among lots of other things. But the strongest example I've ever heard of this is Richard Garriott, who is the designer of the Ultima series and a very famous, like, rich video game developer. He had enough money. His dad was actually an astronaut, and he's the only like father-son pair to go into space. But he paid his way into space. He paid like $30 million to the Russian government to go to space and go to the ISS. And do you ever remember when they wanted a swab on my spit to put on a DNA chip that they were going to put on the space station? I
Yeah.
was like, there's no fucking way I'm putting my DNA in space. I'm just not doing it.
Right.
Why?
That was his thing. He was the one who went up there and put the little microchip up there and left it on the space station.
You have a better chance of coming back.
Yeah, I guess so. If they're in a pot, I'm just convinced that like somebody get my DNA. I don't know, some technology we don't understand. They could get my DNA and do
Or they
something
beam
with that.
they beam your DNA to some alien in another galaxy, and then like clone Burnie is in a zoo.
Yeah, it's like there's a certain movie I don't want to spoil, but there's certain where that happens.
Do you believe in
And, like,
aliens?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
I totally believe
I
in
don't
aliens.
think we've contacted aliens, but
I think people who don't.
But
Oh!
I think
Like
that
them.
aliens exist.
we gotta talk about the fucking 9th planet.
We will talk about that in a second. I want to go back to his Antarctica thing before we get too far from it.
What? Okay.
People born in
Let me
Antarctica.
finish the Richard Gere
Oh,
thing
okay,
real quick.
go.
So Richard Gere, when he was going to go up into space, they did normal physical on him, and well, I say normal. They like scanned him head to toe, and they found out he had like a little nodule on his liver that was totally benign, but it was not a normal structure on a liver. So he had to have full abdominal liver surgery and recovery to take that nodule off before they would let him go up in space.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
he would do
crazy.
elective liver surgery.
You know, if that guy had waited probably about another 15 years, I bet he'd be able to go up there for a lot cheaper.
I think he'd be
Yeah.
a lot older. Yeah, I do
be
it for
15
10.
years
Richard Gere's kind of guy that don't give a fuck.
But I guess with Richard Gere, he went up with his dad, he said?
No, his dad was an astronaut.
Oh, okay, never mind.
His dad previously gone.
So there have been 11 people born in Antarctica, 8 of which were born at the Argentine base, 3 of which were born at the Chilean base. I'm going to read you the first one, because this does play into what you're saying about what kind of citizen are they. The first one was born in January 7th, 1978. His name was Emilio. Emilio was born at the Esperanza base near the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula.
Oh, Gus is mad.
He was automatically
Somebody's phone
granted
went off in the control room.
Argentine citizenship by the government since his parents were both Argentine citizens. He was born in the claimed sector, Argentine Antarctica. This is a sector of Antarctica claimed by Argentina as part of its national territory. However, this claim is not internationally recognized and overlaps with British and Chilean claims in Antarctica. Since he was also born in British Antarctic territory, he had the right to claim British overseas territory citizenship. However, he and his parents never filed a request. So he could have been a British citizen as well, but
So that's the place to go if you want a load of passports.
Yep. It's like a dispute, or not dispute, but it's like an area with multiple territorial claims.
I was talking to Steve-O about, because he is...
I was talking
Casual.
That was fuck,
Super
yeah,
casual.
just
Fucking
like,
name drop right in there.
He
Steve
is,
and I
uh,
were hanging out the other day. and
his
we were
mom...
trying-
What?
Like,
When
one
were
of
you
his
talking to
parents...
Steve-O? Was that the week that I went to the White House, Gav? Or was that, when was that?
Did you stop in the...
This is the
Admiral's
stupidest
Club
dick
when you
measuring
were-
contest.
So when you
Fuck
hit
the both of
gold?
you.
It's very relevant to one person.
You're making fun of him by making fun of yourself.
I'm trying to come up, I'm trying to one...
Did you remember when our friend Kumail Nanjiani was on the
Successful.
X-Files episode, which airs tonight?
Anyway, one parent British, one parent Canadian, born in the US. So then if he like marries an Australian, he can legally have 4 passports.
Whoa.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
I want to do something like that with
It's
my
like
kid.
Jason Bourne or something.
Whereas you're British, but if you married your Playboy model girlfriend, you could be American if you wanted to.
Right? Prick, aren't you?
The Lord's work over there.
I am.
She's going like this. That's funny. It's cute.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't apply to anyone else I know. So sorry, Gus, for mentioning that person.
Just fucking dropping that bomb.
Should we
Literally talking about...
should we talk about the Fine Brothers?
I mean, yeah, do you guys want to talk about the Fine Brothers? I mean, it's
think
kind of
I-
like the topic of the week, isn't it?
I think we should, just because it seems like there's a weird conspiracy theory going around right now
About what?
about us not talking about it.
Oh, no, everybody just wants to hear everybody's opinion on it, but I think everybody's
I think
opinion
people are
is
just
pretty...
trying to drag us into it.
Does anyone have a different opinion on this? I mean, is it...
I think
you know-
everyone's on the
No.
same page.
Oh, yeah, we're all in support of
Oh,
it.
the different opinions, the Fine Brothers.
Yeah, I would agree so.
That-
But
that is
listen, I think the Fine Brothers then at this point would probably have the same opinion, which is like, yeah, we constructed this message like in the worst possible manner. And then
Absolutely.
A
Tried
reaction
to
video
explain
was
it in the worst possible manner as well. As a
what do you mean,
follow-up.
their apology video?
Their update video.
I have a particular opinion about that, but I want to. That's like a separate. There's like 3 separate issues here to me that are all kind of lumped together into one big thing, and everybody thinks it's one thing, but I think it's like 3 different things.
Can we explain what it is first for people that don't?
I would love to hear anybody's explanation of this thing. Go ahead.
Oh,
who wants to do
I
it?
feel you could explain. this.
can I give the explanation they should have given?
No. Let's hear the explanation of what the
the whole
controversy
thing.
is. Blaine, tell us what it is.
Oh, Blaine.
Fuck you. No. Okay, so the Fine Brothers made an announcement video that they're going to be making something called React World.
React World.
React World, which is basically it. All of the branches, kids react, old people react, all of
Elders
their-
react.
Let's be specific. These are trademarks.
Old
Elders
whatever.
React.
All those videos are going to fall under this like giant branch. But you can also use it as like a what is it called when you franchise?
Yeah, you can license it.
You can
as a
license it. So like a
franchise.
normal person, if they wanted to do a React video, they could find the Fine Brothers to help them out. And apparently they would provide them resources to do it. But they kept on emphasizing on this is the legal way to do a reaction video.
That was probably mistake number 2. The first mistake I think they made in the announcement video is that they didn't clearly differentiate between a React video, which is a very generic term that a lot of people just associate with a reaction video, and what their brand React with the capital React, which, you know, if you try to get a trademark for something that generic sounding, scares the shit out of a lot of people, and for good reason, because it can be applied like
That's
variations of it. Reacting is a variation of React. Reaction.
Way too much power.
It's
way too overreaching.
How's my description?
I think it's pretty good.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah, and I thought it was just way too overreaching. I think that, and obviously I don't know those guys. I've never met them. I think that they were trying to come from a good place to help people, but it just sounded so disingenuous. Like the whole oh, this isn't corporate. Here's the legal way and the legal avenue to do this. Like obviously constructed by lawyers.
Kept saying legal.
What?
This is the legal way to pursue this.
Here's why I think that took place.
Like
is that I think that they have a format that they started doing of videos that were just everybody on the web was doing them, or everybody on YouTube was doing. In fact, YouTube, when it first started, they had built into the system reaction videos. You could post a reaction videos to somebody's video and it would appear right below it.
Right.
And then people started to abuse that by just having their boobs out in the thumbnail, and the reaction was, I like the video, and that was it. But
That was a whole thing at one point.
It was a whole
YouTube
thing.
was trying to crack down on React girls and stuff.
Exactly.
Because they would just make thousands of videos that were 15 seconds long.
And the feature went
over
away.
That many videos would actually generate a lot of income because there's so many, just volume.
Texting
spam.
pictures to Patrick. I'm not just on my phone.
Oh, I'm not looking. I don't care.
you
You're researching. I never get mad at someone for being on the phone.
Okay.
And reaction videos are they're almost as generic as vlogging. There's so many different variations of it. I would argue that something like what Ray William Johnson does, Equals 3, that's a reaction video too. He's just giving a more professional, just him reacting to it, riffing off of the video. Or Tosh.0 does it on TV. Those are extreme examples of it. But then the Fine Brothers made this format of specific groups of people reacting to videos, and then they would ask those people questions and everything. If you see kids react, you would know it if you saw it, kind of a thing. And I think that when they first started explaining this, they should have been. What they were trying to say was that they were talking about their version of a reaction. They were talking about React, their series, but it's too generic of a term.
Yeah,
It's
way
the
too.
pitfall was they named their series and their quote unquote format. They named it something too generic, almost to trademark in the future, and that's a mistake. I mean, you can make early on, and we ran into problems like this early on because we were making videos. That we were just making videos based in video games, which is this whole IP trademark thing we're just getting into in a second. But then people told us they were called Machinima. Then a company came along and trademarked the word Machinima. And so for fucking 8 years, Gus, how long was it that we would have to answer the question about we make Machinima videos, but we don't fucking work for this company Machinima?
Right.
We have nothing to do with that.
It's two totally. That's Machinima with a capital M. This is Machinima with a lowercase m.
And nobody gave a shit about that. We would have articles printed about us, and they said, go to their website, machinima.com. We'd be like, fuck you. You gotta be fucking. And we have the same conversation over and over again, which was, it's you guys make Machinima videos. It's yeah. It's well, what's it like to work for Machinima? It's we don't work for Machinima. It's but you make videos for Machinima? It's I can't explain this anymore. It's 8 years of that. It's I just can't explain this. Yeah. To the point where we had a running joke where we refused to call our stuff Machinima. And Gus, you remember what we called it?
Render vision?
Render vision. Yeah. That's what we called the technology. But
Doesn't
anyway.
make sense, render vision. Because it's already rendered. It's
But
live render.
Machinima totally makes sense. That's a very descriptive term, right, Gavo?
So, but their response to this, they looked pissed. And the wording, it seemed
They
like
just seemed on edge.
the wording was genuine, but their tone was as if they're mad.
Well, it was
and
which one is this?
The update video?
Their update video was just
Where it was
no,
update period.
He's like,
And that was
you
the-
don't understand this.
Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah.
Well, I have another opinion about that too, and I agree with that. But let's go through the first thing. Let's just stick with the topic here, and because I want to hear Gus's. I want to have an example. I asked Gus to think about this before we got on the podcast. The second mistake I think they made was they were pitching this new thing that they were doing to take their React brand and the React shows, and they were going to bring them out all over the world. And basically, let's call it what it is. They were trying to do a UGC play with their
That's
business.
exactly what
they
it
were
was.
trying to make something where the users generate content. You see this in all forms of media, including video games, where they build in a system where the users can create content, and that bolsters the brand. And sometimes, in the case of like Valve and other places, they actually will charge and make money off of that. The Fine Brothers were, according to what I remember from their video, they were going to charge those people a licensing fee to license the brand that comes with assets. It's just like a franchising deal. You know what I
They
mean?
would get like main promotion.
Yeah.
In their update video, they describe it that way. You use the Burger King example.
Now
And they
that
would
is
monetize it, and they would be able to split the money. Or something.
that is a hard enough announcement on its own, because you got to get people to buy into the fact that it's worth money and that you're
There's
making
value.
money now from
Yes.
your. I mean, you always make money from an audience because you basically, what's the old saying? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product.
Right.
Like you sell advertising against people's views and stuff like that. But you're trying to convince people that you're going to make content which is going to produce money for us, but it's going to be a bigger benefit for you. That's a hard enough sell. Then all of a sudden, they shifted into this discussion where they started talking about legal terms like trademark, and now you can do it legally and you can license our stuff legally. And it's like, I understand why the Fine Brothers would see that as a problem, because they have a hugely popular brand that is often mimicked, you know, and that's a huge problem for them. But nobody else recognizes that problem. They're trying to solve a problem for people that they don't have.
Everyone acknowledges that they did not invent this format.
And I think they would acknowledge that.
Right, but it's like, so that it doesn't make sense to me that they would that they would throw this out from a legal perspective and say, we're going to trademark it and let you license it. Like, well, you didn't come up with it. How are you the one to trademark it?
We had a funny discussion before the podcast where we were talking about, like, we were comparing it to going on a first date and being like, talking to the girl and be like, listen, my herpes are gone. You know, I'm not going to murder you on the first date. You know, that kind of thing. Because they're putting out the solution to a problem that no one else.
Yeah, that she didn't know
no one's
existed.
raising these questions.
Right.
Yeah.
So how far down will the sub count go, do you think?
Check your phone.
It's been going down.
I think they
Pretty-
lost
pretty
300,000
fast.
subscribers in the last 2 days.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Just in the podcast alone.
across multiple
They've
channels.
lost 20,000 since 7 o'clock, I'm being told in my
Since
ear.
7 o'clock.
So that's been from now about almost 2 hours.
But
Yeah, span.
that's a clear like demonstration that people are angry about this and the sub counts are going down and people are unsubscribing. I'm curious now at this point, if it's going down this fast on Monday night is when we're recording this, who's just now finding out about this that also happened to be subscribed to the Fine Brothers channel is now mad enough but didn't find out about it over the weekend? Like, who are these people that are continuing to unsubscribe?
I think people are also just doing it to go along.
To take the
with
piss?
hype.
It's
a little bit?
probably
Yeah.
it's the elders. They're reacting.
Do you
I
know?
would like to see. You know what nobody is doing, which I would
TM.
find really funny. I would like to see someone map the views against the Fine Brothers videos since this whole thing started.
Yeah.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, subs is a metric that people quote a lot. It doesn't have really any value. It just translates to the actual thing that has value, which is views. And I guarantee the Fine Brothers views have gone way up because there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are watching Fine Brothers videos right now that didn't care.
Those videos have like 95% dislikes.
Their
but
apology
there's
video
so
got
many
3.5
views.
million views in like 48 hours.
Update video.
Sorry, update video. It's not apology video. Update period video.
The you don't understand video.
We would kill for a video that got 3.5 million views in 48 hours.
Be controversial.
Apparently
Perfect.
so.
You guys know Andrew Blanchard?
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
He was not subscribed to the Fine Brothers, but he subscribed and unsubscribed just so he could see his counter on.
That's so stupid.
Cool.
He just wanted to be part of it.
Ooh.
Oh wow,
3.7
almost
million.
4 million.
That is the most dislikes I've ever seen in my life.
So as with everything,
3.8 million views.
the Mega 64 guys made the best response to that.
You know what they really did, and like I think everybody's response since then has been like very visceral, and like they've taken like little bits. One thing that happens is when this thing takes place, is the internet mob plays like this really horrific version of "This Is Your Life." Like they're digging up videos that the Fine Brothers made. I mean, probably like 10 or 15 years ago, with like one of them, you know, jerking off at a computer, and like every time there was one thing they did, which I really don't like, which is they at one point called out the internet mob to go after the Ellen DeGeneres show for having kids react to a phone on the show, and they like there's a post. If you believe the post, it's a deleted post, and someone is saying that this was like they archived it and they found it. But it was a post on the Facebook page, I guess, of the Fine Brothers Entertainment where they were asking them to go after the Ellen DeGeneres show and like bomb their comments section, saying that they had ripped off Kids React from them. And it's like, if you do that, if you like try to use the internet as your personal army, that is going to come back to fucking haunt you at some point, because that's exactly, I think, what's going on right now. It's like it's just circling back around.
Karma.
I really do. It's a little bit. In that regard, it's a little bit of karma, you know. But it is the same sense though too. I hate playing devil's advocate, but it's also really frustrating when, if you're sitting there and you have a very popular format online, all of a sudden Ellen DeGeneres show does something that seems a lot like your thing and does it out of the clear blue sky. Like, I've never heard of Ellen DeGeneres sitting down with kids.
Well, you guys had that with Immersion, didn't you? A couple times.
With what?
Like other shows, pretty much copying the format exactly.
Well, here's the thing too, is that I think that, you know, for us, and the last thing I want to do, because this is such an emotional issue, I'm very reluctant to talk about stuff that we do, because then I don't want people like lumping like the stuff that we do in with this, you know, this issue that's going on right now. But I think we've always been very good about acknowledging when we have shows that are derivative. And I consider Immersion to be one of our more inspired by shows. Like, we've always said it's one part Mythbusters, one part Jackass. That's the way we describe it. It's inspired by, you know, these science shows that are on the air where they test things, you know. It's not, I don't think we came up with that format on our own. We just specifically applied it to testing of video games. Likewise, with Machinima, when we started doing this, I tried to go out and find something that was like what I had in mind of using a video game to make a movie. I couldn't fucking find anything. I couldn't find any videos that were like this. The closest thing I could find to what Red vs. Blue was going to be was Randall Glass's The Warthog Jump.
Right, that was huge inspiration for us early on.
Yeah, but it was like but that was a tricks video essentially. But it was a really well edited tricks video that seemed to almost tell a story of a guy trying to flip this Warthog on the silent cartographer map in Halo.
I was blown away by that shot with the rocket. Still to this day. Like, the Warthog's in the air, he like predicts, I'll shoot the rocket there, and he fires it, and like 2 seconds later it hits directly on the Warthog. It's insane.
We showed
it's
the
one
trailer.
of the coolest things I've ever seen.
We showed the trailer for Red vs. Blue at RTX Australia. And that was actually, I had to kind of demonstrate to Gus and Jeff what I was talking about by putting dialogue in. So the whole purpose of the trailer was to have that little shot at the end where Griff and Simmons talk about wasting 2 minutes of their life watching the trailer. And so anyway, when we did that, all of a sudden then we were contacted and we were told that what we were doing is like some people have done with Doom and Quake, and it was called Machinima. But then as Red vs. Blue became all of a sudden very, very popular, very quickly in season 1, it just exploded. And then what happened was all of a sudden, a year and a half into Halo's life cycle, all of a sudden everybody were making videos, shooting them and their friends, doing dialogue in Halo. And it was called Machinima. Oh, I'm making a Halo Machinima. It's like nobody made these videos before we did it. Nobody did.
And 90% of the time it was X versus Y.
Yeah, whatever. And then we would hear how their series was better than ours, but it was totally different because it was on Sidewinder. But we never did anything about that. Like, I never would have thought, I never at any point in time would have thought that we have the right to take that down or I was actually encouraged by somebody, believe it or not, to apply for a patent because this was a technique of animation, and somebody told me that this could be patentable, to use 3D engines to make real-time animation, and that I should patent our process. And a patent is way more overreaching than a trademark or a copyright. That's like you just sit back for a couple years and then sue the shit out of a bunch of people. Right. But we never did anything like that. I never had this idea that we should trademark this and prevent other people from doing it. To us, it was like we're participating in this like remix culture, and that this is part of like what goes along with that is that, you know, and we've always said to this day that we will make Red versus Blue as long as people want to watch it and B, Microsoft wants us to make it, because the fact that we based it on Halo doesn't change as we become more successful. Those origins don't suddenly metamorphosize themselves, to something else. It's like the origin is still the same of the thing.
So anyway. Did that piss you off back in the day with like Codex and Salmon versus Teal and Fire Team Charlie?
Fire Team Charlie and all that stuff. I mean, I would have never said so at the time, but yeah, looking back, I can tell you, I honestly was like, why don't you guys go do your own thing? I mean, the thing I used to always wonder is like, why were they using Halo? It was like one of the hardest engines to do machinima in. There was the Half-Life 2 engine was on the market. That was way better for making machinima.
I think they had the lip sync tools and everything.
They had the hammer tool and everything.
Was a big factor was that right around that time that you started doing it, capturing from an Xbox became a lot easier. And it was very
I was going to ask, just out of curiosity, how did you guys capture like season 1 of Red vs. Blue?
I had a SD capture card.
They had capture cards.
But like right around that time, like within 2 years, the price of those things were like affordable to fans.
It was still pretty pricey. I think the capture card used at the time was that Canopus Rex.
Canopus DV Rex. It was a $1,500 capture card.
It was
recorded in standard def.
ISA interface, I think, on the motherboard.
Or yeah, I believe it was ISA on the motherboard. Yeah.
Well, Randall Glass made Warhog jump with a VCR recorder.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when I was
VCR
little,
recorder.
I was inspired by you guys. I made a Max Payne video, and I remember I hooked in. I don't know how I did it. Long story short, my PlayStation was plugged into a Canon camera, and I was playing the game on the mini display.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's how I capture my stuff.
Yeah, 'cause you were recording, and that was a viewfinder, and that was your source. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also say too, probably from a business standpoint, that was probably a bad decision. Like, because then another company came along, a group of investors. They bought Machinima.com from Hugh Hancock, the guy who made up the term Machinima. They bought the website from him and then created the company Machinima, that we all know now, registered trademark. And for years, there was brand confusion. And I think some of it, was not exactly accidental. I mean, we would go to their website, and on the front page, it had a red versus blue icon saying #1 series on it. And it was like, why do you have our fucking web series on your website with #1 series? It's like, well, you're the #1 Machinima series. Little M.
Yeah, and that's what people are. I've seen a couple of comments on Twitter about that, saying that back in the day, that's how they watched the first couple seasons of Red versus Blue.
Machinima as a
Despite the fact that we had the intro slate and the outro slate with our domain.
Some people would edit that out.
And
when
some
they
people
rehost,
would,
but
but
that's a totally different issue.
Yeah,
as a medium though, Machinima was very artsy back then, and it's terrible. Like early Machinima sucks. Like Red versus Blue was the first funny Machinima, and I think actually was the only funny Machinima that ever existed.
We went to a lot of festivals with many of these other.
Remember that one with the apple?
Many of these other artistic machinima pieces. And
I
we had-
still love that song though. That
We
song
had
is stuck in my head.
we had nicknames for all of them.
Robot Picks Apple.
That was Robot Picks Apple. That was in the waiting line.
In the waiting line.
And the Quake one was just text.
It's a music video.
Was it RVBTO where
Quake
people
one
made
that
their
was
own
terrible.
The
machinimas?
story was in text. There was no
And you guys had
dialogue.
to judge
yeah.
them?
Maybe. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, we did a lot of Machinima stuff over the years. Little M.
Remember that one prick that would do news updates? I think it was like the Dead Pixel or something. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
I think that was actually one of the first machinima pieces ever.
And it
What
was
you
just
talking
like
about?
a save file. It was like a instruct the game to play in a certain
Right,
way.
that was a WAD file. And that was a Diary of a Camper, which I think is actually credited as being the first machinima piece ever created.
Who made that one?
It was just like a group of guys in a Quake clan, and they wanted to tell a story, and that's how you distributed it back then. It was like a WAD file that the game engine would interpret the data and then play it back in the game. So there was no like video viewer
Yeah.
to watch it.
It would
You
just-
had to own Quake and then load the WAD file into Quake
It was
and
the,
then play it
the
back.
equivalent of like a save film from Halo.
Exactly.
You need Halo
and you
to
had to
play
have
with-
it to watch it. You couldn't watch it. But
20
back
years
then you
ago.
couldn't watch video in a web browser, so it
What?
didn't matter anyway.
Eddie Reeves
you're
made a
right.
funny one. The Portal, the little turret.
This
Oh,
is
the
it.
the
Oh, is
Day
that-
in the Life of
that's it?
Turret's
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones ever.
yeah, Eddie Reeves.
This is
funny.
Diary of a Camper. This is it.
So
Oh.
I think there's no dialogue, but
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's all
all
up there.
it's all
It's the
told
chat.
via chat. Yeah. So
Huh.
that's the first ever Machinima.
With little M.
Yeah.
So, okay,
But like people were doing all sorts of stuff like, This Spartan Life was another one, which I loved that, and I love the guy who made it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, it'd be great, just a different game. But when you use somebody else's like world to shoot your show, that comes along with it. I mean, that's also part of the benefit, I assume, of why they like the fact that we're doing it, because it became a whole new way to play with Halo. You could let them make skits and hang out with your friends and make creative projects. So it's like that comes with the territory, And it's so anyway. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you going to read something?
Yeah, I'm going to read something, and I'm going to pass this out. We got berries here. So I'll pass this. Barbara was eyeing them, so I had to give them to her. I want to remind everyone, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by... Are you going to share those?
No. They're
No,
not.
no,
Oh, they
Blaine-
are
Blaine's
Sherry's
got 'em.
berries. I was going to say, they're not Sherry's berries, but they are.
Amateur hour over here.
Sherry's berries. My head hurts now. I legitimately choked and lost oxygen.
Are we talking about this too much? Do you want to keep talking about this?
We can move on. I feel like we've already moved off the topic, but...
Well, I was just saying, in that sense of like knowing that we dealt with that, I can see how somebody who has a successful format, they see other people starting to mimic it, and they feel like we're in jeopardy of losing this thing. Because that was the other thing about making Machinima, is one of the things that made it appealing was that anybody could do it. But because the fact that anybody could do it, everybody did it. You know what I mean? So suddenly it was like we saw this big flood of
And
things.
they copied the most popular example.
Yeah, and it made our thing, like, I felt, well, I was at the time, I was a little worried that our thing was going to get drowned out and people weren't going to be able to tell the difference between our thing and the other thing, those are the exact discussions that lead to people wanting to do trademarks and stuff like that, to differentiate themselves. And the trademark system it's genuinely fucked up anyway. Like, there was just a thing that went down with Sony and the Let's Play thing, which we talked about before. UPS as a company has a trademark on the color brown.
Really?
As associated with shipping.
What can I do for you?
Yeah. No, not even the word. The color.
it's brown?
All boxes are brown.
They have a trademark on the color brown.
Like that
boxes.
specific color, like the number, the 5-digit number.
You know what? I don't know if trademarks are like that easy to like that specific, and that's where the weird things come out because of that, you know. And so, you know, and I think if the Fines had named their show somewhere early on, had named it something else that wasn't as generic, they would have a better chance of trademarking it because it wouldn't sound like they're trying to trademark people reacting to things or like reaction videos as a genre, you know. But the problem is they named their things sounding very similar to what the genre is.
We should talk about Mega 64's video though.
No, but Mega 64 I thought had probably the best commentary on it. And then you guys know Boogie who makes videos online?
Yep.
Yeah, he had a great like very objective, trying to see both sides of it, you know, kind of a thing because it's like trying to work through it. Not everyone tries to do that online.
Do you think if a channel goes below a threshold that YouTube revoke the play button? Like, will they
Like
lose
if
their...
you hit 1 million subscribers, you get the gold button. And
Like
then
someone
you get,
from
like,
YouTube just shows up and takes it back.
YouTube
be-
police.
We might find out.
God, I hope it doesn't go that low. Below 10 million?
Yeah,
That would be a significant
That'd be crazy.
loss.
That's a huge amount. That's probably they were almost at 15 million, I think.
Were they really?
Yeah,
they were at
they were at like
definitely at
14.5, I think.
Yeah.
One of the
So
comments I
almost
saw was, hey guys, congrats on 13 million. Been subscribed since 14 million.
That's
Brutal.
brutal.
That's
really brutal.
Fucking brutal.
Listen, and I will say this too. It's like this gets into the other issue too, which is like I've never been a fan of internet mobs in any way whatsoever.
No, it's too easy and shitty.
Yeah, it's just like that feeling of piling on, and then it got to the point of okay, you know, you don't like their business practice. I thought the Mega 64 thing was a very straightforward critique of it because they critique like the whole message of hey, we're doing this thing that's going to make us a bunch of money, but it's for you, the community, and stuff like that. Totally legitimate criticism. But then I see like posts on Reddit that have like 3,000 upvotes, and it's a comparison of one guy's face to like Steve Buscemi and stuff like that. It's like what are we doing at this point? Like what is taking place right now?
Yeah.
And everyone's super happy about it. And even the gleeful thing of like posting the sub count going down. It's like what's going on here? Like what's the objective here? Is it are we not even hiding the fact that we're like out to destroy someone? We're not trying to change a business practice, but we're trying to actively destroy
So like
somebody?
Are these people like actively, the people unsubbing, do they want them to go out of business?
Here's the funny
Like, these
thing
are
about-
like actual people.
Here's the funny thing about the unsubbing too. What unsubbing says what? It's indication they've lost so many subs. It's indication that
It's like
these
it's a
are people who
boycott.
were interested in the Fine Brothers, and by unsubbing, they're showing they no longer have an interest in the Fine Brothers and their products. When actually, these are the people who are most interested in the Fine Brothers right now. These are the people who are actually most engaged. It's like the Howard Stern effect. They're most engaged with what the Fine Brothers are. You're probably watching the videos more
Yeah,
than
these are the
anybody
people
else.
who watched the
Yep.
update video and gave it 3.7 million views in 48
Give me
hours.
that'd be great to get that. So I think just like, but people have to have a way to demonstrate their clear rage over this idea that, you know, the other thing is they're taking down videos and things like that. And then they showed the Ellen DeGeneres thing and all these things come out and it looks really, really, you know, looks bad, you know, across the board. And then nobody believed the apology video or the update video.
The
excuse me.
update video.
Sorry.
That was
Which gets into another thing. Fucking Sony, a few weeks ago, tried to register Let's Play. The Fine Brothers at least contribute to the reaction genre, and they are the best example or the most popular example of reaction videos. Sony tried to trademark Let's Play. They've never done anything. They've had no...
They make the games that people use for Let's Play.
They make some of the games, yeah, but they've never produced Let's Play content. They've
Yeah, but
never...
was Let's Play ever a trademark that they had? I mean,
No, they were-
like a tagline or something?
No, I think a company the size of Sony probably registered before they
Didn't Coke
launch
have
it.
that as a
No,
slogan at some point?
Coca, Dr. Pepper has
Dr.
the
Pepper.
Let's Play.com.
Okay, that's
What was
what
it?
I'm confused with.
Sony didn't have anything. They didn't have no thing. Anyway, but and everyone agreed, or everyone felt that the same thing as what the Fines are doing with the word react. Why is Sony trying to co-opt this term Let's Play and get a trademark on it?
Like you're in Hamlet.
But the thing that really frustrates me about this is that Sony's response or Sony's strategy to everyone getting upset about Let's Play trademarking, Sony didn't say a fucking word. And we were even talking about that in our no update. It's like, we don't know what Sony wants to do with this Let's Play trademark. All we can do is speculate because Sony is not making any clarifying statements at all. And what happened? outrage just disappeared.
What-
It went away.
whatever happened-
The Fine Brothers made a response, and that just blew it up.
It
And
must
it's
have
like-
been a big decision too. I bet Benny was like, let's do it. Let's make this video.
I just think it reinforces the idea that when people get outraged on the internet, you just shouldn't say anything.
They
You
also
sh-
gave an email to people if they want to have questions to email them and they'll personally answer. What do you think that email is full of? It's people like with death threats and probably sending them pictures of like dead babies and shit.
Better in an email box than in the YouTube comments,
Christ.
right?
I guess, yeah. I just wonder if they even look at it.
Whatever.
But I don't like the idea that we would reinforce a strategy that when someone is doing something and there is an actual public outrage about it, I don't like reinforcing the strategy of just like zero response. Like they don't have to like Sony didn't have to make any clarifying statements. Nobody put up a counter that showed people unsubscribing from the PlayStation Network because Sony tried to co-opt the Let's Play turn, the Let's Play.
Yeah. Well, there's also no
trademark.
centralized place to watch that. It's a
But,
little
but you know what I'm
different.
saying? There was nobody who unsubscribed from
Nobody who
PlayStation.
tried to start like an uprising.
Right. It just
didn't all-
blew
I think
over.
also by the time people found out about that, wasn't the trademark denied?
It was denied. It was denied. But still, it's like they still tried to do it as well.
Do you think the Fine Brothers put that in before the Sony one came out? And at the time,
Oh, I
and then
think they've had the Kids React trademark in place for a long time.
I think
really?
from what I read, they applied for it in July
Wow.
of 2015. So
you
yeah,
think-
it'd been.
So
it'd
when the
been like
Sony
6
thing came out,
months.
do you think they were like, uh-oh?
No, obviously not, because they went ahead with this thing anyway.
Do you think Mighty Fine Burger's business has been affected in light of recent events? That was a dumb question. Whatever happened with the
I'm
Candy Crush?
looking at you because that's so stupid.
I know, it's
No,
stupid.
Candy
Whatever
Crush-
happened to
Blaine, you gotta own it. You can say ridiculous, dumb stuff.
Nobody
but
laughs.
Own it.
And then we
So
react.
quiet.
oh, shit. You literally gave us no time to laugh.
Whatever happened to Candy Crush?
I still play it.
No. Like, didn't they try to license like
The word
trademark
candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saga.
Yeah. Whatever happened there?
I think they got it.
Really?
Yeah. And I think.
Shit.
Yeah, and I know there were some issues with the Banner Saga, which was another game, but I believe that like they worked out. Oh, your use of the word saga is different than
That's
our
so
use.
dumb.
So, Gus, do it for me.
What?
You're launching React World. You do the pitch,
This is easy. This is real easy.
okay?
We're gonna make a portal. We're gonna help you make React videos. Here's access to assets, and we're gonna help promote your videos. You just have to put them into this portal.
That's it.
Portal?
That's it. And then everything else that was said in that video would just be
But
in a
that's-
user licensing agreement, just like anything else on the planet,
It's
right?
still confusing though because when they did their update video, they mentioned that they're only talking about their React format, not just reaction videos in general. When you explained it just now, it sounded like reaction videos in general.
But he said React videos. Like that is
Not-
that's
or
where it
not-
becomes confusing.
It didn't
for-
sound like you were saying it in all capitals, though.
Oh,
React.
okay. So you got to reinforce the all capitals, right?
You at least have your eyebrows go up when you say it.
React.
There you go. That sounded like it was more in caps.
like if they had named the series,
Fine Brothers React?
no,
No.
not even React. If they had named the series like
Mighty Fine Burgers and Fries?
Jaw Time, I don't know what else. Jaw Time.
Jaw time.
Okay, and then they
Elders
said
Jaw Time.
we have the Jaw Time series. Kids Jaw Time about old phones. Elders Jaw Time about StarCraft.
That just sounds like
Whatever.
blowjobs.
Is that an actual term?
I'm just coming up with
placeholder.
something like
Jaw time. Yeah.
you know. And then you can make Jaw Time videos. Nobody would have a reaction to them trademarking Jaw Time. Like nobody. But the fact that they used the generic term, because if you go back to the origin, they were using a format that existed, so they named the show after the format. That's a problem you can't ever get away from because that's a branding issue that took place years and years ago. And so they can say React, and when they say React to the Fine Brothers, that means something very specific. You know, that is a look and feel. That's a set of assets. That's a format for the show. It's people looking, I'm just going to base it on what I've seen in the videos. It's people looking at a piece of content, talking about it, and then a producer asking them questions in a specific way, and then cutting in between those people as they all answer the questions or whatever.
How do you think it will affect YouTubers going on the show again?
What's that?
Like, you and I have both been on it. Do you
I've
think
been on,
peop- do you think
my
people
son,
will
my
stop
son
going on it?
Teddy's been on Kids React too.
Michael's on it.
Yep.
Michael's on it too. I wonder what that's going to mean for the YouTubers React.
Gavin, to try to predict that at this point in time is who knows. You know what I
I
mean?
think-
It's
I think
Who
a
knows?
lot of people have personal relationships with them, and I think they'll be fine. They'll continue to.
I had a lovely time when I was on it.
To,
Well, they were
to do
super
the
nice.
show.
Super nice to me.
They're nice guys, for sure.
you absolutely never know. Would I go on it tomorrow? Probably not. Probably not. But like a year from now, if people have calmed down or things are clarified a little bit better.
When everything is fine.
Yeah, when everything's fine. Who knows? Who knows? Based on what I've said today, I might never be asked again, and I can
Killed that
understand
that
that. too.
cancels out your mighty fine joke. You are net even
Yeah,
for
it
this
is.
podcast.
Hey,
If they want me to do one tomorrow, I'll go do it.
Would you really?
Just saying.
Gus just wants to be on the
I'll do
show.
it. 13 million people, huh?
Well, maybe 12.
All
Maybe
eyes on the
12 by
channel.
then. I'll get in front of 12 million people. I don't care. I just need a platform to talk.
They would never be able to lose their audience though.
Like it's too many or inactive accounts or what?
Like it would under no circumstances ever would it go down to 0.
They did acknowledge that, I think, in the update video, because at the end of it says, and if you're just a viewer who has no idea what we're talking about, then sorry, thanks for sticking with us, I think is what they said at the end of it. It's like, that does, I mean, in a way it indicates their audience is that big, that there's a lot of people. I mean, Reddit.
Well, a lot of kids watch it. They don't know what
Reddit is the
trademark
internet to a lot of people, but Reddit's not the whole internet.
Nope.
And this is very specifically, it seems, confined to the front page of Reddit and the art videos
Yeah.
subreddit. But it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. CP Gray made a video against it. That guy is like, he's one of my favorite YouTube creators, and he always seems like very measured. He's brutal. You'd like him, Gus, if you haven't seen him. He's like XKCD, but for YouTube.
Okay,
essentially.
I'm familiar with
very
him, but
cerebral.
I haven't seen it.
You should watch his. You should watch his video about the explanation of how the rings in Lord of the Rings were made and distributed.
Oh, I have seen that.
That's that
a
guy.
fucking amazing video.
Guy's amazing.
One of my favorite videos of all time.
Oh,
Yeah.
where he explains like all the races.
Yeah,
and
and
stuff?
like where the rings come from and why it matters.
it made
and-
me want to watch Lord of the Rings.
so good.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Well, it's
So
time
fun.
to wrap.
Are we wrapping up?
I guess we can't talk about RTX Australia.
Yeah.
Post show?
We'll talk about it in
Sure we
post show.
Okay.
Might.
So if you're not a sponsor, we had RTX Australia.
Can we say that the post show doesn't go live? Like I feel like every week people are like it's not working for
It's
me.
not live.
We
You'll
never-
see
we never do it
later
live.
as
It
a
gets
sponsor.
uploaded, I believe, on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yes.
Thumbs up from Controller.
Also, sponsors, we're going to be showing pictures of Aaron's car, what me and Lynn did in the post show. Not now. Don't do it now.
And we should show that picture of John Risinger that we for some reason never showed.
yeah, I
Just
pulled
go
it
to
up,
his
then we got
Instagram.
distracted.
Oh, I can also shit talk John.
Why don't we
Risinger at the
why don't we
post
roll
show
the
when we do
credits
PAX South.
over the picture of John Risinger?
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's
Can we
enough
do that?
warning for them. No, they're shaking their head no.
Aw.
All right, well, it's time to wrap up. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for
You
watching.
know, we could
Bye,
print the
everybody.
picture and hold it.